What is smoking canna family? It is your host Dustin with two buds in a jar. How you guys doing out there tonight?
Very cool.
And we got with us Harry Cole in the studio as well. So guys, we got a whole new episode for you guys again. We got all the technicalities figured out by none other than your guys is truly. Harry Cole is figuring out all the technology aspects of this live stream. We finally got it down. We did a lot of videos for you guys today, a lot of new content's coming out. We got a lot of content coming up with this here live stream. Harry's lighting a Jeter over here.
It's a baby Jeter.
It is a baby Jeter. Now, these guys are from Michigan, and we did a review on them that's going to be coming out. So, another thing, you can see stuff coming out on our live streams that you may, wonder about, like, what are they putting out next? There'll be little hints and tips and like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find us there. We've been up to like, what, 1,600 subscribers?
That's Can't believe the channel has grown this quick and just year it's just growing insanely quick.
Exponentially fast, I must say. And we're seeing like we were used to, guys, just real quick to break it down, we were used to get like 50, 60 views on a video roughly, and then we'd get like maybe 1 to 3 subscribers a month, and now we're getting like 40, 50 subscribers, a day, and it's just going up.
Pretty
We're
wild.
we're getting hundreds of views on videos. We have videos now, guys, we have one video with 17,000 views, Harry. Doesn't that blow your noggin, man?
It's pretty cool. It's growing. It's growing. We got more stuff for the future. Can I talk about the big project? Quiet the
Yeah, I told you guys in the shorts, if you've been watching, there is a surprise in the works. So that's why we're getting a live stream a little late, but we're doing them early now. But
well,
yeah, go
last
ahead.
last week we didn't drop a live stream because I thought we could shoot the pilot to this project that we're working on in one day, and no, it took a lot. We shot like 73 takes one day. Pretty wild.
Harry didn't get home till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got here around like 10, 11.
It's going to be a fun project. It's way different than what you typically see on YouTube. It's not just going to be your talking head videos. There's going to be a lot more fun and a lot more interesting things happening in this style of uh, this platform that we're working on making here.
Yeah, it's something like a two buds in a jar type of production. And we've done one of them in the past, but this is going to be shot with way better production value and just way better overall scripting and everything. So can't release too much on it, but
Yeah, don't say too much. It's like I want to save a bunch of stuff, but then I'm like, I can't.
yeah, I do too, guys. I want to tell you guys so bad, but you guys will have to see. It's cool. It's been fun. Hold on. Copyright. Sorry, guys. My phone, I'm going to have to turn notifications off. I apologize to everybody watching at home.
Yeah,
And yeah, hopefully YouTube don't get us for that. Let me turn them
it was
down.
less than 10 seconds. You're good.
Okay. Man, that tripped me out for a minute. I'm like, oh man. But anyway, sorry guys. We had a little copyright emergency there. Let me turn this phone down. There we go. Now, I thought I did when I started. I apologize, Cana family. Now, we have a huge docket as always. We also got some other things we're going to talk about. So we usually go ahead, and if you're new to this stream, we just go ahead and knock the docket up out of the way, which is all current, usually cannabis topics, all sorts of things. So it doesn't matter who you are or why you're watching. It'll
Back
definitely,
to YouTube. We can't see our comments.
it'll definitely, yeah, if you want to get that, man. Um, yeah, you're good with that. So Harry's just clicking so we can see the live chat. If you guys are talking to us, we can't see it right now. We just got to bring that up. We forgot. We rushed right into this. Oh, we got tons of comments. Hey guys, we're back on the comments now. Apologize. So, Michael Richards out there saying, "We're live." Yes, we are, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. What is going on? We did not have the chat up, so
Yes, wrong button disappeared on me.
it happens even with bigger channels and bigger productions that have like thousands of dollars to dump in their production compared to like, a smaller channel like us, for instance. I mean, we have hundreds, but we don't have thousands. But anyway, uh you have those, you have audio issues and things of that nature. It's boring, but we got you guys, we'll fix it. Harry's a genius when it comes to this, and he's got it for sure. He can figure out OBS, and what is that, the Zune
Oh yeah, the Zoom H6 is
H66.
one of the audio equipment that I use for preamps or for recording audio separately. And it can hook up several mics or instruments into one device, so it's really useful.
All right, but first topic, guys, first topic of the stream, we're going to go ahead. And this is just a normal topic, but something, it hit me because if you guys have been following the shorts, I've had a problem with it. And this grow was going beautifully up. And yes, I'm talking about the mimosa cake. It had a calcium deficiency. And I was adding calcium at the beginning of flowering, like you're supposed to, Canna family. But my calcium, I forgot, was 7 or 8 years old. So it was totally expired. So that's something to
Well,
take into consideration.
that wasn't also had it sitting in storage
Yes.
where it was getting exposed to heat and cold,
Extreme heat and extreme cold.
which made it go bad quicker.
Yeah, it made it break down. Yes, exactly. Precisely, Harry. So, this is something to check in your guys' nutrients. So, if your nutrients are expired, it's definitely something to check into, because you can mess your whole grow up because your plants may not be receiving the calcium. It's just a little mistake on my end. I'm a veteran grower, but I just had this simple mistake, and it ended up kind of damaging my plants, but it still had an overall great yield so far, and they're still growing. So I'll let you guys know how much they yield once they do grow with that calcium deficiency problem. But
Didn't you get the bush doctor to fix that up though?
yeah, the bush doctor did. I did order some Fox Farm, and I did give it, and it stopped the receding calcium cow mag issue I had. So I got to say, it did work. So shout out to Fox Farms out there. We're not sponsored, but you guys are amazing. We love using your guys' stuff, from your soils to your nutrients to, yeah.
Fox was good. Fun to use. Yeah, 2 parts. Can't get it wrong.
And as we got a lot. Let's see. While Bill Gross said he just chopped down my dragon fruit Z #1 down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always nice and rewarding
That
once you,
smells of
yeah.
that fresh chopped cannabis.
Yeah. I love throwing it in the trim bowl and, getting it all trimmed up, nice looking like little condensed nuggets. Then pulling that trim bowl lid off, it just hits you in the face with all those terpenes.
That's
Even hand trimming.
I like the hand trim.
Mhm.
Your fingers are so great.
It's kind of like Taco Bell. You eat it, you burp it up all day, you get to retaste your food. Some people really like that. I've heard a lot of different people. So, it's kind of like that. You get to smell your hands again and smell them terpenes. But yeah, it's always nice. Dragon fruit, 'cause that's dragon fruit. Richards here. Experience. Definitely a learning experience. Now, we hiccups, and my last hiccup, for instance, I got tablespoons and teaspoons confused, and I ended up giving tablespoons instead of teaspoons. And then the last one required CalMag at the end of the grow, and I got it, saved it, no problem. And then this one just had CalMag pop up out of nowhere. I was feeding it CalMag, and my CalMag was expired. So that was the only nutrients I didn't think to grab. And since I replaced it, it's doing really well. I can't wait to add it with Fox Farm and keep doing that. I do want to do an organic nutrient series though as well.
An organic one. I think for
Yeah.
me, what I messed up on the amnesia was simply the fact that I put too much silica. I just kept putting silica, and I thought, oh, it's going to be fine. But and it doesn't show you on Mulder's chart things like sulfur and silica. And silica is one of those ones that if you put too much, it creates a blockout, especially for potassium.
Yeah.
And then if you put way too much, now you get to a lockout, and then your plant can't bring up anything because the pH of your soil is rising up with that silica in there. And the plant can uptake the silica easier than it can uptake potassium. So as long as the silica is present, the plant's uptaking it.
Yeah, precisely. And you got to make sure these nutrients all allow you to do so, all allow you to take up the proper nutrient uptake. So, I mean, eventually, but we're going to be doing one on organic nutrient supplements, and we're going to be doing one on bottled nutrient supplements. Show you guys kind of the difference between growing organically, which I applicate half organic, half nutrients, bottled nutrients, if you would. I don't know what the name would be for, but
Syngenetic.
no, synthetic. So half organic, half synthetic. I have done fully organic grows. I do prefer what is in my stuff, but we just go through different nutrients, and we have a lot of nutrients on deck already. So we're just going to blast through those with different grows, and once we're out of those, we were going to do organic nutrients versus synthetic nutrients, and we'll see what the outcome will add. Our sugars, CO2s, and everything else we add, and give them the same advantages. You know. Well, I've been wanting to try. Michael Richards keeps. I forget stuff, guys. I have a short memory. He's been saying prefer growing organically. But right now, we just have so many bottled newts and all sorts of nutrients build up. We gotta, use some of them and get them out of the way.
Interesting to go 100% get like run, which I think still with that soil, trans so
That's like a project for you, man. I mean, honestly.
much.
Yeah, down the line, I'm gonna take a
Maybe,
list.
maybe if one of those soil companies would send me a bag of soil, it'd make it a lot
Mic.
easier.
Oh, can you hear my mic now? Hold on.
Oh, did your mic fall?
Yeah, I messed up, and I know exactly why, so we're gonna go ahead and fix the problem.
That's why I just hold it. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, yeah. How's this, guys? What do you think, Michael, man? Am I sounding better now? He said, sounds like you have your hands in front of your mouth. Okay. Yeah, it was because of my hoodie, man. My mic just flipped upside down, and I'm trying to wear my mic different ways, but sometimes it's like heavy. For a little square guys, I don't know if you can hear me now, but for little square guys, they're pretty heavy. So are we good on the volume or good on the mics? Just let me know down in the chat below.
Hopefully.
Sounds like you have your hands in front of your mouth. Yes, okay. Right on. Thank you guys. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah.
It's complicated.
Audio is very complicated. We have messed it up two streams, and I do appreciate whoever it is. And if they watch this again, it was funny because we went halfway through the stream and it went well, and then all of a sudden I'm like paused, like in midair, like this, and you're going to reach for the computer, and it's just our voices. And dude put in big cap locks, quality. I'm just
Quality comedy, man.
yeah, like I mean, shit, dude. We put our laptop on a like a cover for the table, and it wasn't ventilating because we were stoned and trying to set it up because we were falling behind. We wanted to go live for you guys, man, because we kept posting it and in our community post on the YouTube channel, and we fucked it all up, man. And dude put quality underneath
That was
it.
great. That was
It
great.
was funny. So shout out to whoever the hell did that. It was funny, man. Hold on, chat is blowing up over here. Let's see. He's Michael Richards says now we are clear. Thank you, Mike. Shout out to you.
Awesome.
Wild Bill, good to go. Oh damn, huh? Shit. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. I'm telling you, man. But we got the second thing on our list coming up now. It is, let's see here. Some of our best cart streams. Like what? Okay, we have covered, and I don't know, some of you guys may not be too familiar with it, but we have covered what is it? 20, 30,
Backwoods.
40, 50
Yeah,
carts.
Backwoods was our most popular, but my
Yeah.
favorite is
Have you guys in the
the
chat,
Mars.
let me know down in the chat below. Have you guys ever had Packwoods vapes? 1 or 2 gram disposables? What were they? 1 or 2 gram disposables?
I honestly can't even remember, man. Can't remember. It was so long ago that we did that video. It was like last year sometime.
Yeah. It ended up accumulating. Woo, that's sour.
We went through a lot of videos since then.
It ended up accumulating 17,000 views. Well, let's check it out here, guys. I mean, we got quite a few. We have our Packwoods, like he mentioned. We have our Muhammad's. We have
The Mars was a fun
the
one.
Mars was another one. We have just a ton of them. We even have THCO. We have
Yeah, we did THC
fried
before.
carts.
Yeah, it's starting to get banned everywhere.
Yeah, I gotta say my favorite ones though were the diamonds, the liquid diamonds by favorites, and the Muhammad reviews because the Muhammeds are a really good company. See, they used to be underground Canna Family, and I yeah, and they got a bad rep for that, where people are thinking that they were all black market and all fake. But if you look in dispensaries in like Los Angeles, New York, California, big cities where cannabis is legal, you'll see Muhammeds. Matter of fact, let me know down in the comment section below if you guys have Muhammeds or have seen them or heard of them in your local areas. But just to back me up on that, because they got their licensing and now they're allowed to push products ultimately. So, it did them really good to just hang in there and catch all the flack. So now they're putting out quality products. And favorites diamond pens will just smack your head like a brick.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
papaya
and,
one.
and
That was
the,
good.
oh yeah, the papaya pun or cookies, and that taste is on point. Like, if you guys ever come across favorites disposable, they usually have like hearts and shit in the logo. I know it sounds, but follow me on this. They're fire. It has like a heart with an F in it that stands for favorites, and you'll understand why that's there once you get to smoking on them because they will become your favorite. Same thing with Muhammad's. They have great tasting distillate, great additives, and each pen is a fucking banger to your head. I
Yeah.
mean, it just delivers unique terpene profiles, unique buzzes. They have really good packaging.
Yeah, there's
So,
definitely been some unique ones.
let me see here. Um, okay. Poor Boys Green. Shout out to you, man. Poor Boys Green. Hey, what's going on, man? Sorry, just catching up with chat right now. And then we go. Michael says he's not sure. Um, I have had some diamonds. They was good, but tasteless. Yeah, and see, that's the problem with diamonds. They have to usually add what's known as a terp sauce to it because all diamonds, no matter what strand they're created from, the taste is even removed. And why that is because it creates a purer product. They're trying to just isolate that trichomes for you guys. So they're taking out chlorophyll, they're taking out terpenes, they're removing everything from this.
Yeah, even the other cannabinoids.
Yeah, even the other cannabinoids, like they're doing it on a molecular, scientific, structural level with,
Well,
lab grade equipment.
yeah, well, they're going in and they're stripping everything out
Yes.
one by
So,
one, stripping it out.
and that's why they'll add like live resin terps that is like usually 25% THC, and they'll add that to your diamonds, and it's called diamonds and sauce.
Yeah, that
So,
stuff's
yeah,
fire. I
diamonds
haven't
and
had it in a
sauce.
long, but that stuff is
Yeah,
fire.
they take live resin that's just gold color and drizzle it all over your diamonds, and you get this soupy diamond gold type of texture concentrate,
It
guys. And
reminds me of like Coca-Cola in the
oh,
glass.
it's just, oh,
So good.
God, I wish I had a jar of it.
It's very expensive jar.
Yeah.
Very expensive
Yeah, even in a dispensary, it's like $60 a gram, dude, for a
very
chunk of
expensive.
diamond. Yeah. But, um, Yeah, Michael Richards. It is straight THCA, um, actually, and THC. So it's converted to both of those. So it's THCA and THC. Just because it's purely THC, yes, but it's THCA and THC, and then when it's lit, it combines into THC. So I guess they just labeled it for scientific terms what's actually in it with
But
the
it technically
THC and
has more
THCA.
A. It has more
Yeah,
A because
it
they
does.
know slowly breaks down, the THCA would convert into THC.
See, yeah. So to answer your question, it's primarily THCA, Michael. I couldn't, I was against myself there. And then Harry brought the voice of reason. Excuse me. Voice
Happens.
change there. Yeah. Um, Corrence, man, what is going on, man? Glad you're hyped for the live stream. We've got a lot, and we've only covered a few things so far. We're only on our second thing on the docket here, and that's what
I
kind of.
thought we were covering this, so I added it onto the name.
Oh, that's
It's,
fine.
it's
Yeah.
I must have
Well,
already.
yeah, we did last live stream, man. It happens,
I
guys.
saw
It
you on there.
happens.
Maybe we didn't.
But we'll get into it in this one. Let's see. So some of the best cart streams, yeah, or cart videos we've done, I would have to say was the Packwoods because it reached 17,000.
Most
The
popular.
favorites, Liquid Diamonds, the live resin pens, and the Muhammad's,
Yeah,
both 2 grams and carts.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
always fun. I really
yeah.
like doing the Mars too. We had
The
some fun with
Mars
the
were good
Mars.
too. These were extracted with CO2 and steam.
Yeah,
There
they were
were two
fire.
different, yeah, and they were very organic. And it's not like your yellow distillate, it would be more like your amber color.
Yeah, they were really enjoyed the Mars. They're very earthy. They're very natural. They're very organic.
Bad. That is not bad at all, Bill. He said 4 gram carts was $45.
Wow.
Damn.
So,
I didn't even know they made 4 carts. I know they made 2 and 3.
yeah,
I'd be damn.
is that
I'm glad they need to just slap a gallon jug on it for
what
me.
size you need to
Yeah,
slap on
this
your
5
mod?
milliliters. I want a tank like this, and they make them in 2 milliliters, like smaller than this. I'm like, man, come on. Just slap a big old honey pot on top of it and put an atomizer in it. And
Yeah.
let me be. Slap my face on it. Hook a gas mask up to it. But
Hey, I'll show you a magic trick. It's full now, right? Come back in 3 hours.
yeah,
Bring another bed.
yeah, absolutely. Hold on, guys. 1 second. I just gotta fill this up and I'll grab my mic. Hold up. There we go.
It'll be all right. They'll still be able to hear you. It's
Okay.
better than it being like completely covered and upside down and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, earlier, guys, I apologize if you're catching up on the stream. My mic, we're trying different ways to fit it in and just flipped upside down my hoodie and sound all muffled and goofy. Thanks to the Canna family out there. Shout out to you guys. You let me know real quick and it was fixed. That way we can have one stream at least where we're not too baked and mess something up, man.
Well, I mean, I've heard a bunch of reviews. That was some intense puffing down.
That was, guys. We thoroughly baked. I'm talking about more fried than Kentucky Fried Chicken's chicken, and we got more toasted than subs, man.
Sub.
Yeah,
Subway subs.
yeah. Look at me, I can't even talk. But yeah. Let's get back into the docket here, man. So they're cracking down on the lab percentages. Now, I find this interesting because a lot of companies will just solely pay off the lab and they will slap whatever THC percentage on that plant form. And a lot of these are known throughout the cannabis industry. Some aren't. Now, some are purely, the right numbers and logistics. So I think it's good that they're, cracking down on this because a lot of companies just pay them. And for you guys out there that go to the dispensary or may get your seeds and
It's deceptive.
yeah, it's very deceptive. So it's a very, in my opinion, shady way to do business. I mean, if you guys came to me and you're like, hey, I want a strand that's 28%, then I'm going to go into, my strand profile that's or profiles that are 28%. I'm going to be like, okay, what do you want? We got the hybrids, the indicas, the sativas here, XYZ. I'm I'm not just going to be like, oh, it's 14%. Just slap, 30% on that. And we'll just sell it. you know?
Well, I understand why they do it because everybody, when they go to the store, they're looking at that number. They're looking for the highest number because there's a misconception that it's just the THC alone that gets you high. Now, it does increase the psychoactive effects that you feel,
Yep.
but it's not just that alone. It's the taste, it's the terpenes, it's the cannabinoids that are in that cultivar, and it's all these things working together in like an orchestra to create the feelings that you feel. So it's really a lot more to it than just that one number.
Yeah, exactly. So what you have is a trifecta. Each bud and strand and cultivar you smoke, like blueberry kush, bubblegum haze, you got, like Harry said, you got a trifecta of cannabinoids, THC and THCA and CBD. Those are the primary ones, not to mention the breakdown ones like CBG, CBN, so on and so forth.
There's a bunch of them, a
Yeah.
lot of
Now,
cannabinoids.
all these strands have these different trifectas of cannabinoids, and that's why it affects you. Some strains you might smoke you like, some you might hate, some you just, might make you feel sleepy, might make you feel energetic,
Give you
might
a headache.
could, yeah, Super Silver Haze gives me and Harry a migraine. Yeah,
But I
yeah.
hate this one. It's not my cultivar, as you could tell from the grow.
Yeah, like Michael said, there is an entourage effect. Yes, precisely, man. There is just a combination of cannabinoids that have an entourage of different effects with different people.
And if
And
you're doing something like THCA and you have a bunch of it at the beginning of the week and you're doing it, then by the end of the week, your tolerance is going to be crazy to THCA. But then you go smoke some flower and you'll get destroyed from all all the other stuff that's in there. You'll just get way better effects. You'll be
yeah,
like, whoa.
yeah, and that is true, guys. If you are a diamond smoker or a concentrate or a hash smoker, just switch to something else instead of taking a concentrate break. So if you're puffing down flowers every day, they're not getting you high. Well, wake up tomorrow and just take a fistful of edibles to the face.
That's
Yeah,
really that's your station.
I mean, well, yeah, yeah. Isn't that?
Concentrates or
I
something.
mean, if somebody's already puffing down diamond, I mean, they can handle a fistful of edibles. Should be able
Oh
to.
yeah,
Like,
they'll have a
yeah,
tolerance of
yeah. 'Cause that's yeah, it's 98.9% THCA that is then converted into
it's just a
THC when
lot
you
of
smoke
the
it.
a lot of it.
Let's see. Read. Yep, THCA. Wild Bill Gross says THCA. He also says good lemon haze. Now, lemon haze is not bad. I've had it in concentrates, Bill, and it's really
I
good,
had a
honestly.
mango haze back in the day
Mango
that was
haze is
really
good.
good.
Blueberry haze and purple haze is really good.
There are a lot of hazes I have tried, which like even the mango haze had a good flavor and a good taste, but it still gave me this like little bit of like a headache kind
Now,
of
did
other
the
flavor.
amnesia haze? They didn't give me a headache.
It did a little bit for me.
A little bit, yeah. It just must be hazes for. I mean, I'm that way too with super silver haze, so I get it. It just has an effect in the
I
back of your
got
noggin,
seeds
but
to finally pick
yeah,
up.
Harry Cola's got some seeds germinating. I got to get a drink, guys, so he's going to tell you about that while I do that, so I
All
don't
right.
sound like, I've been chewing on nails all day.
So I tried with the jelly donuts, but there were some jelly donut pops. And I tried again with the what was next up? I tried the reclining Buddhas because man, because every time I put a seed down, typically I do the research on the cultivation facts, and so I'm researching all this stuff,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
he
reclining Buddha
does.
sounds great, but all it did was recline in the soil. And then I tried the wedding cakes, and none of those wanted to pop either. I tried five of those, and then I went to the 42 fast buds, the fast flowers. They have really great packaging containers that keep those seeds just really protected from the environments. In 3 days, the wedding cheesecakes popped.
Damn, 3 days, and the other ones did not for Harry. Now, Michael says the Hubba Bubba from Manifesto Genetics. Now, Manifesto Genetics sells pure fire. Like, I gotta say, they're right up there with Royal Queen seeds, and I mean, in my opinion, Herbies, the exotics that are on Herbies. Now
I
you
would
can get your, typical $7 a strand, and then your free seeds that come with it. But if you're looking for really good genetics, Huckleberry Farm, Barney's Farm, and definitely Manifesto Genetics is just some frosty cultivars.
that Hubba Bubble, take that stuff and cross it with a really strong blueberry cultivar. So then
Original blueberry.
you'd have a blueberry Hubba Bubba, or like a BC blueberry would be good too.
Nope, we got another one. Four to low, 650. Has anyone ever tried potty mouth from Humboldt? No, I have
No, I
not.
want to.
Hashy Monday. For the blow, or for, yeah, for the low, my bad. For the blow. For the low, 650. What is going on, man? Poor Boys Green, what's going on? Michael Richards, shout out, man. Wild Bill Gross, shout out to you. How you guys doing? Corinth. Glad to
Everybody
see you
else.
guys. Yeah, Canna family, what's going on, guys? But we have got past that. I would say the amnesia haze. I mean, it was a good cultivar. I gotta say, it came out pretty frosty, even though Harry had some problems with it. Yeah, my bad on the name, man. But I was
Yeah,
like for the blow.
I
But
had some issues with the amnesia
yeah,
haze. We narrowed it down to the silica. I was adding way too much silica because I was adding it almost every feeding because I thought I could. I didn't think I couldn't do that, but now realizing that I can't, yeah, I just can't do that one.
yeah, if you want to do one every single feeding in your flowerings, look, guys, look up amorphous silica, and it enhances your terpenes, the size of your flowers, your overall flower production, and it's natural. But it's just, it's usually in TPS newts, one of those systems or something of that nature. Um, yeah, we are smoking. I'm smoking on some exotic jawbreaker from Fried, right here in my Luca Bear, and Harry is smoking on some Jeters, baby
I
Jeters.
popped down a Jeter so far.
Yeah, he's one Jeter in, guys. By the end of this stream, that jar is going to be empty, and Harry's going to be asleep. I guarantee it.
There's still a few in there.
I'm just kidding, man. But Harry can keep up quite well, I gotta say. So anyway, Canna family. Getting into it, we got to see right here what else is on the docket. Now, they've proved weed and cannabis does not harm children. They have actually done this, babies. So they've took pregnant women, they've smoked cannabis, and it does not seem to harm the baby.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's no physical. Now, you would think, I mean, because the only damage I see there is blood oxygen levels, right? So when you smoke, it destroys, so the baby may not be getting as much oxygen. Now, guys, just we're not doctors, okay?
Definitely not.
Okay, let me state that now. I do have a
Just
lot of medical knowledge because, I know a lot about a lot of different subjects, but I get bored and I research things. But
well, I think, when it comes to kids and cannabis, as somebody that was a child who did cannabis,
yeah.
I definitely think there is some lasting effects on the overall mental health of
Oh,
somebody
there
who.
is when you're younger. Yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's beneficial. Is what I'm saying. I don't think there's really a benefit to it. I think it'd be with something like this, it's better to wait. It's true to the way the plant is. The longer you wait, the better it is. You do the dry, you do the cure, you got to do all this work. So I just think
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
waiting on it is better than doing it too young.
I gotta say, I'm glad they have took the time to do the research and finally prove that cannabis is not as harmful as they thought. Now, the body does,
Well, that is good.
getting into a little boring science about women here. Um, basically, women's when they're pregnant, we all produce natural cannabinoids in our system. We have what's called an endocannabinoid system, and the baby already receives cannabinoids naturally from the body through the milk and stuff. So, I mean, without like if the mother isn't, now they didn't say if they were smoking it, doing edibles or nothing, but I would say if they are doing edibles residually, there would be no harm to the baby. I would say if they're vaping it, I would say there would be no residual harm to the child because there's no carcinogens. However, if you're like smoking it like that or in a blunt or, I would say due to the fact how smoke affects the body, yeah,
Well, okay, so
you know.
we'll get a little scientific with it with you here.
Okay.
So let's say the edibles in question are grown in dirt that's contaminated with heavy metals. So that cannabis plant absorbs those heavy metals and then is turned into an edible.
Doesn't I mean, honestly, guys, it does not say who particularly were the participants, but they said, and it also doesn't say if they were edibles, but it was what can't even remember. I write all these down, but it's breaking cannabis news. So they researched it basically, but the participants, I have no idea, honestly. But it does make sense if you add it up and think about it. I mean, the only way it could affect a child, I mean, is through that. Because I mean, weed only alters. You got to wait until your brain fully matures in order to smoke cannabis. So I agree with you on that. But I mean, as you're
You
taking
know,
it
as
in,
a
yeah,
baby, then like yeah, inside
yeah,
the
don't
womb,
harm development is where they're getting at,
right? Right, then
you know.
that's at least good to know.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's cool, but
I think cannabis has always been a really safe alternative as a medicine. It's just been shunned because you can grow it. You know, it's not too difficult to grow. It does have its challenges, you know, but it's not impossible.
no, no, not at all. So I thought that was interesting though, but if you have just, basic medical knowledge, you can assess that cannabis, taken in different ways, maybe other than smoking isn't, harmful to a child, I would say. Okay. And this is a big thing, guys. Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook
Oh,
is
what?
attacking weed tubers and weed accounts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's happening?
Yep. Now let me, being weed tubers, guys, everything we had upload for you guys was banned, a shadow banned, age restricted. They hated us, dude. Like, I don't know what it was with YouTube when we started, but dude, we thought literally nobody watched the content. And then we figured it out. It got out to nobody because of YouTube. But once our content got out, the numbers grew. And it
I
was
felt
like,
like we were
it
making
told me people wanted to watch us. It's just YouTube didn't want
I
us.
felt like we were making content, putting it on VHS tapes and stacking them in our closet. That's what
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
doing.
at that point. And I hate when creators like, now YouTube fixed it. You guys can see our shorts now with plants. I don't know what happened or what law passed, but YouTube changed that. So they still do age restricted, but I appeal it and they allow the appeal because they don't see nothing harmful to the community. Which I don't know how growing plants and telling you guys about plants is harmful to you guys, but if I'm hurting anybody out there with this knowledge, I apologize. That's not the intent. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I did.
but
Plant's
it's
not
just to inform
dangerous.
people. Yeah,
Plant's not dangerous.
it's
That's
not.
the thing. It's not gonna
So,
jump out of the pot and like strangle
so
somebody. If you touch it, it's not gonna poison you. You
yeah,
know, it's
exactly. So, I mean, for old Mark Zuckerberg, hating on weed tubers or any other type, I think you got to give people, creative freedom as a platform. Like Twitter sure as hell does. I mean, you can take what can I say here?
you can even do
I mean, you
some
can
outrageous
yeah, you
things.
can just take pictures of whatever you want and just post it on Twitter and all sorts of things. And Instagram allows you more freedom, and they don't really crack down. But I've seen some cracking down on weed channels. Like Instagram don't like when your weed channel gets too big because they'll just like knock you back down to 0 followers and stuff. I've
Really.
seen that. Yeah, I've seen that happen. Yeah, to a couple bigger YouTube
The
or weed
politics
tubers.
of the weed tube world,
Yeah.
it's very complicated.
It is hard, guys. It's
It's a
hard to
lot of work.
navigate because, I said the GD word, because I almost dropped my phone on my plant when I was,
Yeah,
recording for you
GD
guys. Yeah, and they took that down, so I had to redo the video for you guys, put music over it. That's why I'm not talking in that one short. I don't know if you guys have seen it recently, past week, but and that way they didn't age restrict it. Because I went this week and I went through all of our old shorts where we grew plants and they age restricted it and made YouTube unage restrict hundreds of videos. So what they do, they go through all of our old videos and they hit us with 3 or 4 copyrights. So I have to get a hold of Harry and he's like, "Hey, man." I'm like, "Hey, man, you gotta, remove these copyrights because there's serious fucking shit on our channel." So he's like, "All right, I can either mute them or just pause them." And I was just, or mute them or erase them. And I was like,
Delete.
"Just mute, yeah," because we don't want to delete any of our videos. So we'd rather
We
just,
had to delete quite a few because there was no
yeah.
way to fix it in short.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of videos we've went to put out and we can't even because YouTube would just, actually put a strike on our account. And it's nothing like vulgar or nasty.
Those
It's
are the
just,
ones by dreams.
yeah, if you what, man, I'm telling you guys, man,
There's
YouTube.
some that
Yeah,
can't be released.
there's some YouTube videos, guys, I have went to make about what mats my dreads. Basically, guys, if you guys are new to that, it's just what pisses me off. And for some reason, either in the cannabis world or just what's going on, for some reason, a lot of you guys were interested in it. I even took a poll on it. So a lot of you guys, like 76%, wanted to keep what mats my dreads. And I'm like, all right. But there's a few times I got all fired up, caffeine in my ass, got all baked, and I'm like, I'm gonna give YouTube a piece of my fucking mind, dude. So I would sit there and we would record the video, me and Harry, and then like the next day I wake up, I'm checking my garden, I'm like, man, fuck, I shouldn't have said that about YouTube or this or that. So I'll get a hold of him and I'll be like, hey, don't put that video out, man. I cuss too much,
Like,
or
I really
you
even
know.
like looking editing it after shooting it. I'm sitting there like, how am I gonna make this presentable?
Yeah.
It's gonna be like 3 seconds of Dustin. This is how I feel about YouTube, and then the credits roll.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Because sometimes you get frustrated as a creator. Harry gets it because he sits there for hours
Man,
and
for
edit,
hours.
and we record, and I hand write the scripts, and everything I'm going to say is in my own words and articulated in my own way. And Harry puts it all together. And between the both of us, it takes hours of our days and time, which we don't mind. But at the same time, it's like, dude, YouTube's on our ass with everything we upload, dude. I could be like, hey guys, I got this plastic table today and it fucking cool. And I got it from Walmart. And they'll
Oh
just be
man, you
like,
just age restricted this
yeah,
video.
yeah, because I said fucking within the first 5 minutes. That's
But,
why I like live streaming because you have freedom of speech, man. It's
uh,
like, dude, I cuss every now and
Well,
then.
you
It's not a
do,
big
but you
deal.
still can't say certain things like
Oh, yeah.
neighbor.
Yeah, yeah.
I said neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Yeah. 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 Had me for a minute, man. But there's a lot of things you can't say, and for good reason. There's things you can't say, but we're keeping YouTube friendly, and we're just cussing every now and then, and they're like age restriction. Oh, you put out a plan, age restriction.
I
You
was thinking
you
of
know,
South Park. It was one of those animated cartoons where it was like Jeopardy.
yeah.
He was on Jeopardy. Yeah, I think it was a South Park episode. It was fun.
369 Shama, what's up, man? How you doing out there? We're just going into the docket. We've done blasted through a few things. We were just talking about,
Yeah,
YouTube
we
and
missed the
but
plot.
no,
How
no,
fast?
it's Mark Zuckerberg and how
Oh
he's
yeah.
yeah, he's like, how do you feel? I don't think Facebook period has any type of freedom of speech. That's my opinion on it. I think if somebody's butt gets hurt on it, then you're just kicked off for 30 days.
Well, you heard how crazy it
It's
got over there
horrible.
with their social media stuff. Did you hear
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, Russia prevents you from getting on it. Like you can't
Well,
even
in
get on certain
England, if you
sites.
offend somebody, the police could show up to your house and arrest you for
Yeah.
offending somebody's feelings
Yeah.
online, for
Can you
reposting a
imagine that,
meme,
guys? Can
for
you imagine?
reposting a meme.
Yeah, guys, can you imagine getting up, going to work, and then you posted something on Facebook you thought was funny, and then all of a sudden you're going to jail now because somebody got their feelings hurt about it. And that's kind of the
That's
world
insane.
Facebook is. It doesn't, and I get it, like they don't want, things like hate speech or this, but that's not what I'm talking about here. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about freedom of speech, being able to say like, oh, damn it, or fuck, or, something simple like that, because you're rambling on for hours in live stream or, on social media. And they don't give you those freedoms, and they act like any idiot can grow cannabis. And it's like, that's not true, because I mean, even companies that have millions of dollars, how many times have you seen Colorado? Oh, we have mold and pesticides in our weed. How many times have you seen Michigan? How many times have you seen California recalls on all of this shit? And it's like, we can sit home and grow it in our tent too
Well, I mean,
and not have these problems. And you say
well,
like it's
the
not
the
content.
problem come
you
the
know
problems come down to things like soil, and things like plant fertilizers aren't really covered by the FDA, I don't believe. So those kinds of things, they can get away with not listing necessarily everything that's in those ingredients. So I'm sure some of these, ingredients that are out there, especially the ones that aren't as organic, probably have some shady things in them that you're putting into your soil, or these cheaper soils that might have some heavy metals or kind of just bad stuff for overall that your plant's going to absorb and end up in your buds.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think, and I'm sure it happens all the time where, yeah, it's in there, but they don't have to label it, so they don't.
Yeah, and it's horrible. If I sold people a product, I'd want it to help them or get them high. Like, I don't want it killing them. Well,
That's bad.
and if you think about it, just period, like, how much money are you going to make if you're killing everybody?
Right.
Why not be honest? Why not be open? And why not be
Unless,
sincere about your product where there's
unless,
no mirrors and smoke, and just be like, here's,
unless
you
you're working
know.
with the medical industrial complex.
Yeah, we're not getting into big pharma. And last time we did, we got age restricted, so
Oh,
we
yeah,
can,
I didn't say
yeah,
anything about
yeah,
that. I
we
didn't say
can't say
that.
anything about
I
that.
didn't say anything.
Yeah,
Gates.
unfortunately, there are
I
things we
love
can,
Microsoft.
yeah, yeah, and Google,
Xbox
but
outside.
uh, 36, 369 Shama says, I smoked some THCA lemon haze hash here in Sweden, and it got me, to be
Nice.
honest. That is nice. And Sweden's a beautiful place. I've never been there personally, but I've seen tons of footage, and I'm jealous. Your guys' mountain range and just your overall landscaping's absolutely beautiful. So shout out, man.
That's
Definitely.
awesome.
Yeah. And let's see right here. Michael Richards said he is smoking on some super lemon gelato, super exotic here. And yes, guys, I fell behind on comments. So if you're like, is that coming in that slow? No, it's been there. I'm my bad.
Yeah,
But
we all
yeah,
kinds of
yeah. But just to sum it up, to get back on it now that we're caught up on comments here, didn't want to leave any of you guys out of the discussion here. But you know, um it is beautiful. Yeah, yeah, Sweden is beautiful. Absolutely. I gotta say. I mean, they have nice, fresh looking water there. They have luscious green. Like, to grow weed there would be amazing, dude. You know how much their whole area of plant life thrives over there in Sweden?
right,
Like,
yeah,
and they have great food. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to do. There's different areas. There's like a colder region. There's, a warmer region of it. So it's cool. It's kind of like California, but I mean, obviously,
right,
and not so city.
right.
You're going to have like your little villages, and then you're going to have your smaller cities. I don't know everything about Sweden, of course, I've just seen some videos, but yeah.
That sounds like
Um,
a nice place.
yeah, it's beautiful, dude. It's like Amsterdam or Holland, or yeah, it's kind of similar to that. Yeah, I've watched a lot of videos on Amsterdam and Holland. Never been to either place. My family's
Mhm.
originally from Germany, though, so close to there. But yeah, um, we got a little off topic. Yo, yeah, Daniel Esposito. Hold on, man. Daniel Esposito.
Esposito.
Esposito. Yes, I'm sorry, I have cotton
Uh,
mouth. What is up, Daniel Esposito? Let me get a drink here. Glad to see all you guys, man. How you guys all doing tonight? We're going to go ahead and toke as well. I see Harry already toked down.
yeah, man, I only got one more gibber left over here. I've already jabbered all the gibbers.
Oh, hold on. Nature is really beautiful. Or 3369 Shama. nature is really beautiful, kind of Nordic, but a lot of crazy shit has happened. So people are a bit shaken up by the criminality going on. Yeah,
Oh,
see,
wow.
now that is one thing. About a year or two ago, I seen these documents, and crime was low. So he said crime is going up in that area, which you really wouldn't think. If you look at the place overall, it's a quaint, almost island type of area. And a lot of there's a lot of fish, there's a lot of skiing, there's, a lot of open wilderness, kind of like North America is to us. But, I couldn't foresee too much crime going on. That's crazy.
I mean, eventually, everywhere in the world it crops
Yeah,
up. Times are getting harder everywhere with
yeah.
tariffs ramping up for all sides.
That is true. You got some shady people and everywhere, I guess, but you'd never think a place like Sweden, for instance,
Yeah, yeah,
like
you wouldn't want it anywhere in the world, but
no, no,
it's like a
absolutely not.
disease. It's around.
No, it's not right. Yeah, people work hard for their stuff, and you can do the same and get your own stuff and not take other people's or
Right.
whatever kind of
Or
crime.
grow your own
Yeah, yeah, whatever
make
kind of
your own
crimes are going
circus.
on, it's dumb to commit crime. You don't want to spend your life in a concrete box surrounded by metal bars. So I don't understand why
No.
people do the dumb shit they do. That's just my opinion on, that. But
I making YouTube videos or
yeah,
that's a cool
yeah, watching
project that we're working
documentaries,
on.
working on the video, working on these videos. Yeah. There's so much more things. Even taking a nice walk in a park would be great, but hold on, um when I was in Cali, Sacramento, I smelled weed. Yeah, Shama, yeah, 369 Shama. In Cali, like that's kind of where it originated. That was the first state here in the United States
Wait,
where weed became
wait,
legal.
I thought it was Alaska. A lot of people overlook Alaska, but I'm pretty sure Alaska was legal before California. You might have to look it up, and I'm pretty
Hold
sure
on, I don't want to
we're
give
doing
you.
checks here.
Yeah,
We
we
don't want
don't.
to information
Yeah,
that could be just feel like Alaska was actually
did
legal.
Alaska or California put cannabis out first? We will see, Can of Family.
Wait,
Hold
you
on.
said which one was legal first?
Oh, what state was legal for cannabis first, Alaska or California? California became the first state to legalize
Continue
medical
Google.
cannabis.
You betrayed me again, Google.
So yeah. Yeah, so yeah, you're definitely going to smell that everywhere, 369 Shama, for sure, because they
Yeah.
were the first people to really kind of organize the United States to like start legalizing cannabis. And where we're at, it just recently became legal like a couple years ago.
It must have been after around that time then.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
must have been close because like I remember thinking like, oh man, it'd be cool to go to Alaska to be able to grow weed.
Oh
It's
yeah, a
like,
lot of
okay,
people do grow weed in Alaska, and when you see weed plants growing, I've seen a documentary where
you
this
could
one.
probably do beautiful ones up
Yeah,
there.
they grow a lot of northern lights up there. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm serious, like
With
dead
that
ass
dry
northern light strands.
with that dry and cooler conditions, it makes flowering and drying and curing a cinch.
Yeah, but like the
A
living
lot easier.
conditions and running electric and
A lot of
it's
bed.
no hate to anybody that lives in Alaska whatsoever, but you guys, man, shout out to you guys because that is a frigid, rough environment from what I've seen. I don't know if it's like that all year. I've never been to Alaska, but I feel for you guys, man. I don't know how you grow any plants out there, to be honest. I
It's
mean,
the
they
same.
may have a warm season. I don't know.
They do. It's the same way we do indoors when it's cold. We still grow plants when it's cold
I know,
outside.
but there's like negative, like up there, like
But you got to
25,
make the
35,
inside
40
really warm.
negative. Yeah, I guess you'd have to live. I mean, you let your dog out to pee and it's froze to the ground, dude, in like 5 minutes. I mean, maybe not. I may be exaggerating. Once again, I'm not, knocking on anybody in Alaska, but yeah,
It's cold up
I'm just
there.
saying, yeah, it's cold. It's cold. Like Forest
It stays
Hills.
dark for a long
Yeah, yeah, just like Forest Hills, pretty much. Already saying, oh, okay. Catching up here. Hold on.
time.
Yep. Harry
Lots of
Cola.
comments.
Harry Cola's little party. He is, dude. I'm telling you, man.
What do you say?
He said Harry Cola's the whole party.
Oh
Yeah. But getting into it, guys. We done attacked Mark Zuckerberg here. We know, I think we all can say we collectively don't like Mark Zuckerberg. Um, Missouri lawmaker says no to edibles or drinks in Missouri. I think that's bullshit. I mean, let the people have their edibles and their drinks. You guys ever mix THC drinks and edibles together? Oh my God, it's an
The
experience.
thing is,
Like,
smoking it, I feel like it's almost, especially once you have a tolerance, it's almost comparable to like caffeine. But when you're ingesting it, now you're getting it closer to that level of alcohol. So I think like if you're gonna be ingesting large amounts of cannabis and then vaping on top of that, then you definitely shouldn't be driving on it, but I think it should be fine.
yeah, but they're trying to say no edibles completely, Harry, and no drinks.
Yeah,
Well, what do we say to that here at Two Buds in the Jar? I say fuck that.
yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I think that
That's
one of the best
horrible.
ways really to consume this plant is through edibles. And I think
Hmm.
we're really restricting a large amount of our palates because of, some because of like the basically reefer madness. It's just all coming back still from reefer madness. You gotta like explain to people like, no, actually, it's not that bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, if we look at reefer madness, everything that you're saying could be directly applied to alcohol.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't need to go over the statistics. I mean, no one, no hate to anybody who drinks alcohol, but alcohol does kill more people per year than cannabis. So,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
kills brain
yeah, it
cells,
kills more. It actually does. While THC coats
kills your liver.
it coats your brain cells and protects you from Alzheimer's and dementia. Don't believe me, Canna family? There are studies on that, and I believe I mentioned that in a video. Honestly,
It's good for the brain and it's bad for the heart.
yeah, yeah. But, Mary Jane's a girl that will always be there and close to her heart, you know?
Very close, yeah.
Yes. So Missouri guys, I don't know, create a petition. I know it's no fault of your guys's. Shout out to you. I feel you guys gotta still cross them border lines and get cannabis or get it on the black market in Missouri. Well, that's our Missouri. I mean,
Missouri.
they call it misery because they won't let you have no
Well,
edibles or
are they allowed to grow
THC drinks.
plants?
No,
Oh
they
man,
can't grow weed. They can't drink weed. They can't eat weed. They won't even let hemp in
Eh,
misery
eh,
or
maybe
Missouri.
they have a lot of dry counties over there, and they're just really against everything.
Maybe they got some old people that are no offense to old people. I'm talking about like people that's been in the Senate way too damn long. They need to get out of there and let some fresh ideas up in there. That could be, a thing too, because that happens. There's like 70, 80-year-old senates that are up in there and they're like, weed will kill you. And, they have
We
no
gotta do
knowledge
it.
of it.
We hand them a new phone and we say, "All right, set up this phone. If they can set up the phone, they can stay in. But if they can't set up the phone, they're out of there."
Yeah. It's pretty easy. Even I can do it. I'm like technologically challenged here sometimes, I swear. But yeah, we ain't even getting in, and if the stream relied on me to get it up and going, man, we wouldn't be going up live for fucking another couple weeks. That's true though. But okay. Missouri, man, it sounds like misery. I'm telling you, no edibles or no drinks. That's horrible. They got South Dakota lessons charges for actual um drugs. So
Ah,
South Dakota, now we're not going to talk a lot about this because every time anything comes up besides cannabis and we talk about it here on
I will
YouTube,
choose my words
yeah,
carefully.
so please do because the YouTube police is heavily, watching this probably.
They're being some real ninjas on us.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they are. That's it right there. So, um, I think because outside of cannabis, nobody does anything bad for cannabis. You never see somebody, go commit crimes for cannabis, I guess I can say to sum it up. But for them to take the legal, I don't even know why I wrote this one down. It had nothing to do with cannabis, but now we're talking about it, and here we are. So, my take on this, I guess, Canna family is one, don't do drugs.
Yeah,
Period.
that's why we put it
Um,
at the end of so many videos.
yeah, we say that at the end of every video almost. Because if you guys pay attention, there's something at the end of every video, and it changes, and it'll
It's
be
normally
new.
a
Yeah,
sometimes
it's something funny, and it'll make you
like a
laugh.
took that would be funny.
Yeah, yeah, and there's funny stuff that happens all the time here in Two Buds in a Jar Studio. We couldn't even begin to tell you what the funniest thing was.
So
Um,
unfortunately, a lot of the stuff happens off camera.
yeah, yeah. Every time the camera ain't rolling, like the first time the lights came down on me or Harry just fell on us and almost knocked us out, the camera was off. Like we were just sitting there chilling, and the lights came, almost knocked us out. And it was crazy, man.
Stuff
But anyway, back to this topic so we can get off of it, not get trolled by the YouTube police. I think it's good because you don't want to necessarily ruin people's lives because I guess some people are addicted to things and that happens. Like me, I love my vape, my nicotine vape. I love my THC and I love my caffeine. I couldn't live without them. So I guess I can understand, but I wouldn't go doing all that crazy
I'm on
stuff.
the other side of the fence here, man.
I mean,
I think it's a bad idea to do something like that. I think we saw something like that happen in Oregon already, and that
yeah.
did not seem to
No,
play
they made
out.
mushrooms legal. Oh, yeah. They made psilocybin legal in Oregon, actually, and the crime rates went down.
Well, that's
So
good.
now cannabis and psilocybin's legal in Oregon.
Well, like that stuff, I think fine, but the other stuff,
Yeah,
all the
I agree
other
with you.
stuff,
Yeah.
all the other things
Stuff.
is not good. I've seen the end results of like everything throughout my life, and I haven't
So,
seen a good end to any of it, and that's why
yeah.
I was like, this one seems to be good and fine, and everything else seems to be kind of a life wrecker.
Now, 369 Shama asked a great question. And I was going to bring this up earlier while I was talking, but it just didn't seem to fit it up until now. He asked, have you guys ever felt like you became, he or she, I'm sorry, but have you guys ever felt like you became smarter from weed where you realized like you could become calmer and you were super stressed before the started smoking or something like that? Yes. And let me tell you, I was used to be prescribed medication like benzo type of medication. And they had me on a lot for, stress and anxiety. And I dumped all that in the toilet and started, medicating myself with indica, for instance. And indica calms you down and, makes you chill. And usually I'm a high strung, energetic person. And it helped me, get away from that and get back into organics. Do I feel like it makes you smarter? Absolutely. I tell Harry all the time. The reason I feel cannabis was illegal because it allows you to open up your mind. You open up your mind and you start conceiving things. And, let's say things your government or laws or things you may not agree with, certain laws or this or that you're like, that's dumb or why does that exist? You
Well, it
begin
makes you question.
it makes you question precisely. So you have this third eye opening in your brain, which we'll call it, but it allows you to open up your mind and process and think in deeper. And a lot of people have, self reflections. They change themselves. Maybe there could be something you want to change about yourself. And every time you get baked, it's just in the back of your mind, like, man, I really need to do this. And you do it, and your life becomes better. So I think cannabis does help make your life better. It makes you see, character flaws you may need to change. It definitely makes you a lot calmer person. So it's good to, medicate with cannabis if you have any type of anxiety disorders. And as far as making you smarter, yes, I feel like there's two people. There's people that smoke weed and act just childish, and then there's people that smoke weed and they've been smoking it for a while maybe, and it makes them think, and there's nothing wrong with smoking weed, goofing off, and having a good time. It's all good, but for the most of us, it makes people think. And, I do think through that, yes, as long as you're using your brain and you're processing information, you are becoming more intelligent because you're, soaking up this information. Your brain is processing this, you're remembering and evaluating things. So, yeah, I mean, precisely, I do think it makes you more smart.
Smarter.
Yeah, smarter. Yeah. What do you think, Harry?
Let me think. I think it
You know it,
does.
Michael, man.
I think it does
Definitely.
help me focus on things, and it really helps me tap into creativity. If I'm just kind of sitting there, just trying to come up with something, I can come up with so many fun ideas, and with a little bit of a buzz going.
So it does help with creativity. It does help with stress. I do feel on levels it makes you more intelligent. Why? Because for the regular person, including myself, it slows you down and allows you to get deep. And like when I get baked and I write episodes for you guys, I'm like, okay, what's interesting? What's boring me? How can I make this better? How can I make this more interesting? And it's not such a stressful process to me now. It's more of, okay, I'll do this, I'll say this, Facebook's bothering us again, going off. But, so I do, yeah,
Never
to answer
stop
your
it.
question, yeah, I think it definitely makes you smarter. I think you definitely take more into consideration. And Michael said, preach it, Dustin. You know it. I always will for sure, guys. Definitely. Anytime I'm on this channel, it's you can call me the cannabis preacher.
Cannabis preacher.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to teach the world, man, one plant at a time. You know, when
Planet
I get
time.
baked, I like to watch buds and hey, thank you. We appreciate that. I go back on our videos too, man, when I get baked and I see what's more entertaining and what we need to
Man,
do. So I got to say, I do the same thing, but just to make the content better for you guys.
and they're really gonna, man, they're gonna love this project. It's gonna take some time to get
Yeah.
it made, but
Yeah.
once we can finally start,
God, I
probably in
can't
like
wait till
3 months,
it's out.
probably in about 3 months, we can really start dropping teasers and shorts for it. But it's gonna be a
Well,
goofy,
well,
fun little,
we'll tell you one thing. We are using green screens in it. So, we're using a lot of lights. We're using a lot of different
a
cameras
lot
and
of
camera
editing,
angles, a lot of different editing. So there's a lot of production going into this. Hold on one second. Um,
whole kitchen sink at it, everything I got. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be goofy. Got a lot of good ideas.
um, 369 Shama says, I feel like it helps me to stop fearing my thoughts, like it gets me aware of how I needed to open up about certain things. I don't know. I wish sometimes I would stop holding myself back in certain ways for real. Well, I'll tell you, yeah, sometimes cannabis can lower that down and calm down your nerves and make you have that go ahead because that's kind of how I came to the funny you mentioned that again. That's how I came to the, realization to create this channel. I was sitting there, I was smoking weed. I was like, I have people all the time ask me about everything, including cannabis, wanting to know information. I have no problem with that, but I just wish there was a source I could put all this information on and just send it out to all you guys. So if you guys ever wondered, and then I got to thinking YouTube, and I never thought in my life I was going to be a YouTuber. It was like, my passion was always music, but I got into it because I love cannabis. I love creating a peaceful, cool community. I love the idea that everybody on our, sometimes we have some trolls that pop in on our shorts and say some goofy stuff and leave, and then they never comment again. But outside of those couple people, which is like one or two, and it's rare, and it's not even anything like hurtful. They just say some goofy shit and you're just like like they said when Harry was growing amnesia haze, it sounds like he has an amnesia. And I'm like, I'm sure because he smokes heavily every time he wakes up. So I mean, I'm sure I do too when I wake up in the morning. you know so
I had a rough time with that years, man. That
yeah,
was a stressful.
we just try to keep a thing. So anyway, like a peaceful community. We don't want no trolls or assholes, bullying people or just saying dumb shit or just some people can be on the internet. But anyway, can of family, getting into it, that's what the kind of community. So I never thought we would become YouTubers, and all of a sudden it seemed like the best route to get this passion that I shared for the plant and this information across to the people. So I went
Well,
ahead.
and then when we started, there really wasn't that many weed tubers out
Yeah,
there. When we
yeah,
first jumped onto the bus, and now all of a sudden there's a bunch of them. I don't
yeah,
know if
yeah.
they're
It's like
there, I
a
didn't see it.
yeah, I don't think our recommended it to it, but yeah, there's a lot. And we try to do stuff that other weed channels don't do. We cover everything. I don't care what it is. I don't care if they made CBD infused tampons. Well, that's fucking great. That's a new cannabis product, and we're not going to review it, but we're sure as hell going to tell you about it,
Well,
even though
well,
you may not give a fuck.
you would have to
you know?
you would have to get the review from
Yeah,
you would have to
yeah, yeah,
you would have to
yeah.
get up, thumbs down,
Yeah.
fed moves worked or not.
Yeah, fucking med boost. Guys, there's this product out there called Med Boost, and it's a THC suppository. So, I mean, if you don't know what suppository is, just look it up because I'm not going to get into too much depths because YouTube, please. But they make them in 150 to 200 milligrams. And because I'm like subscribed to all these different weed, medical, this, that, and the other, this came across my Instagram feed, I believe. And I was just like, what the hell is a Med Boost? And I'm like, what does boof mean? And I looked it up and I'm like, oh my God. Once again, if you don't know what that is, look it up. I can't, uh, tell you guys here on YouTube. Blame YouTube, not me. I would just say it, but. But anyway, and yeah, they make them. And it's just like, wow. I mean, we've came pretty far from the joint to the med booth. Yeah.
Yeah, did we this? Can we talk about what they were doing with CBD and with the how do you say it in the proper scientific way so we don't get in trouble?
Yeah, get this, Ganna family. Get this. And this was on last month, or not last month, last week's stream, or the week before, because we couldn't. Yeah. So they're with CBD and THC, they're intravenously injecting it. And, it sounds as bad as it is, but they're doing it from a medical standard, I guess. But they're trying to release it in a way to the public. And I'm
Yeah,
like, that's absolutely
I
horrible.
heard about
That's going to
that,
make
and
potheads look horrible,
I
man.
was like, well, that escalated quickly, and then
Yeah.
too is like you don't need that because when you ingest it the normal way, it hits your bloodstream within 7 seconds or something ridiculously quick like that. So there's no reason to take that extra. I have a phobia of needles. I do not like those things at all. At all. I do not like them. That's not.
Yeah, I just like tattoo needles. I mean, obviously, guys, I got a lot of tattoos. I got tattoos you can't see here on film and stuff. Not that they're bad or anything. They're just, covered by clothes, obviously, but Um, you know, um, I can do tattoo needles, and obviously, I gauge my ears to an inch, so I mean, I can take that. But do I like needles that go into your vein? Absolutely fucking not. No, no.
No,
Just thinking about it makes my like body
fuck
tense up.
no.
Yeah, it's not my thing. So I don't know why, unless they thought about it for a medical application in California, but I think it's absolutely ignorant. I think it would make all people that consume cannabis look like junkies, and that's
It is called
that's
for.
something a cannabis person or a cannabis, connoisseur should not fall into the category of because it is far from that.
It's just
You know.
that's wild. They were doing that with CBD though. It was hemp.
Wow, it wasn't even T8.
It was hemp.
Wow. I don't know why you would do that. That's as dumb as like
Should have had a VA.
Yeah, that's as dumb as boofing a gas station cart that you don't know what's in it, but you buy it anyway out of desperation. Um, yeah, but moving past that,
We have
yeah. Uh, 369, or hold on. Michael Richards says Dustin was born to YouTube. He just doesn't know it yet. Thank you, Michael Richards. I appreciate it, man. That's another thing. I never thought I was like a YouTube presence. I always knew I was like a character in real life, but I never knew everything would flow together. And so far it seems to be. I mean, people are liking it, watching. So I'm like, and shout out to you guys. Much love. We're at like 1,600 subscribers. Like I've said before, we wouldn't exist out here without you guys watching the video. We love keeping you guys entertained with content coming up, and we also like just spreading love and passion about the plant. Didn't know I was going to be a YouTuber. Didn't know how long this would last. Honestly, we didn't know if it was an ongoing project or just something we'd try and do. And we seen that I was like, we'll give it 2 to 5 years, and if it takes off, then we'll keep doing it, and we'll just keep doing it, not stop until we get them play buttons up on the wall for the cannabis community. And
very cool.
yeah, now we're on a mission. We're on a permanent mission, for
So we've
YouTube.
been ramping up everything,
Yeah,
getting bigger, we're going
yeah,
trying to get as much
y-
live
y-
streams, doing the shorts,
yeah. Because for all you guys that
bigger
are
projects in the works.
yeah, absolutely. And for all you guys subscribed, I mean, if you haven't realized, we release content every day. every day that goes by. I mean, there's maybe like Christmas, Christmas Eve, and New Year's, and a few other holidays that we don't, but we do it 365 around the clock, releasing content for you every day. Some of them are longer quality productions, some of them are shorter that would be in our shorts, but we try to release stuff for you every day.
Yeah,
And yeah,
keep feeding that
yeah.
algorithm. Yeah, YouTube, where you just gotta
And
keep feeding.
Shama says, do you guys like old school hip hop? Is there any type of music you guys would like to see more out there? Now, 369 Shama, I am a huge music person, man. I'm a music critic, bro. Man, to be honest, I listen to heavy metal, deathcore, death metal. I listen to reggae. I listen to horrorcore. I listen to, drill rap trap music, and I listen to old school hip hop as well. So I appreciate all genres. There are genres I will not listen to. I'm just not a big fan of certain types of music, but so I usually listen to, anything from like I guess Feeder to the Sharks, Slipknot, Lamb of God, Heaven Shall, or no, that's, what is it? Morbid Angel, that's what it is. And I was thinking of a album from Lamb of God. That's what it was, Lamb of God. I listened to a lot of 6 Feet Under. I listened to a lot of Suicide Boys, Diggy Graves, Skits Craven. Um, you know, DMX, Crime Mob, Waka Flocka, Ritz. Just a lot of Stick Figure, Sublime.
Stick figures reggae.
No, yeah, Albrosi, which is Jamaican music. So just basically Rastafarian music, heavy metal, and rap music is to cover it. I mean,
Listen
what do you listen
to
to? I know
I
classics
I
one of them.
platform. Like I like all music essentially to some degree. Some genres less than others, but for the most part, I'd say I do have all music. But if I had to choose like favorites, that would be punk rock has always been kind of close to my soul, and I enjoy classical and lo-fi quite a bit.
Yeah, I
Things of
gotta
that
say,
nature.
yeah, I gotta say to sum it up would be rock and metal. I love rock and metal. I'm just a metalhead stoner, guys. If you ever wondered, that's pretty much what it is.
That
You
old
know,
school rock and the punk rock era,
yeah,
and
yeah, I like some punk rock too, man. Like I
but
said, yeah.
classical music is really, really. I'll throw on some classical music and just start editing a video, and that's enjoyable to do.
Yeah, I like see, I do the same, but I'll have my classical instruments with some heavy metal, and then it's just a chef's kiss from there. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Michael Richards says I'm a music head. Also, I notice a lot of cannabis smokers are, man. Like I listen to a lot of Alice in Chains and Cottonmouth Kings and Potluck and just yeah, just everything that I listened to from the time I started smoking, like Cottonmouth Kings are amazing. I've been listening to them for years. They're still making music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cottonmouth Kings
yeah,
made quite some pretty good gems.
yeah. I gotta say, and they're like hip hop, suburban, rock music, like punk rock, hip hop type deal. Demon Hunter. Yeah, Demon Hunter is really good sometimes. I listen to a lot of black metal too, like Deicide, Belphegor, Goat Whore, Morbid Angel, death metal too. I listen to a lot of Swedish black metal bands, a lot of German black metal bands. I listen to Rammstein. Just anything rock, anything, I'm into just like, music that is a little darker, I guess, but that's just me, man. I like horror movies and stuff. So, yeah. Um, Potluck music in that one short. We need more of that. I got you. See, I was wondering what you guys would think of that. I started, stick figures in a lot of our shorts as
I
far
do a
as
lot of
music.
stick figures.
I do too. Yeah. I love stick figure, but then I was like, what would people think of like potluck? Yeah, just some nice bumps and beats about, cannabis and people love it, man. So we're going to keep putting it in there. Michael said definitely put more in there. We got you, man. We got some Cottonmouth Kings, Potluck, all sorts, Cypress Hill.
Right.
It's from the bong.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've hit a bong, dude. I
I recently hit my bong. Every now and then I gotta dust it off and fill it up with some water, hit it,
Yeah.
clean it again. Cycle.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Hold
They
on,
just
man.
say that the
Oh,
bongs cannabis up pretty quick, I notice. So I don't bust it out all the time.
now, guys, man. It says right here, Trump could make shrooms legal. That is on the docket. So in the United States, guys, they are trying to make psilocybin legal. I don't have a qualm against it. It's organic. I don't want to trip nuts every day, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. I think people should be able to grow them and eat them if they want. Just keep it under control. What do you think, Harry?
It's interesting. Uh, um, I mean, I don't think
Certified old guy, what's up?
I do all the time either, but it would be nice to have the option to be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't want to trip face every day. Now, we have come to the part of the show. We got more coming up a lot, and we're not taking a break, so don't go nowhere, but we are toking down. So if you want to join us,
Oh man,
oh,
I gotta get a whole new gibber out.
oh, he's got to get himself a Jeter from Michigan, get some of them diamonds to the face.
Calling it gibber.
A jibber. He's smoking on Orange Daiquiri, Canna family. Oh, chat's going nuts. Hold on. I microdosed Golden Teachers. That's a good strand, man.
Golden teachers
Yeah,
too.
69. God, these sunglasses, I got to change to the other ones,
Mm,
but because it blacks out some stuff.
right.
But anyway, 369 Shama. I microdosed Golden Teachers. It definitely helped me a lot. I could come up with some ideas that were really good. So microdosed was okay. I prefer Golden Teachers over any other shroom. Where are you guys from? Oh,
The you can't dox ourselves. We can't dox
yeah,
ourselves.
I don't want to dox ourselves, man, but we're from the United States. We're not in any other country, and we're very close to Canada and Michigan. That should kind of give it away, man. Like we're right next to Michigan.
Yeah, it's that we think we
Let's just put it this way. We're in a state that became a meme. So, I don't want to dox myself necessarily, but I mean, does it really matter? Like, we don't have a controversial channel, so I don't think, I mean, anybody's wanna I mean,
I mean, it's up to you.
it's not like the
You're able to.
address, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
That would be
yeah.
fine.
Okay, guys, two buds in a jar and this is going to blow your mind, but we do travel a lot because I know you're going to have a lot of questions after this. But we do travel a lot. We are from Ohio, the most boring state ever. We've lived in different areas and different states and things of that nature. But unfortunately, to answer your question, Michael Richards, we are from Ohio, you know. So bigger cities in Ohio.
Doxed.
Yep, doxed. No, no, doxed is like, yeah, you're like working for me.
Your
Yeah,
legal name, your legal
yeah,
address.
that is. I mean, that Dustin is like, I'm not a stage name, guys. Harry Cola is, but I'm Dustin. That's just my name by birth. So if you ever wondered, like, is that his real? Yeah, that's my damn real name.
I'm
Yeah,
Harry, and I
yep.
like cola.
He is very hairy, and he likes colas of both
Yeah,
kind. He
yeah.
likes Mountain Dew
Dustin, one
cola.
time here to shoot video, there's at least 4 to 6 cans of Mountain Dew left behind.
There used to be a mountain, guys. Don't let him lie to you. He'd go and blow down like a 24 pack. I'd drink two
Like,
energy
yeah,
drinks and yeah, he can blow down a 24 pack, guys. He's all jacked up on Mountain Dew and he comes at that camera like a spider monkey.
yep.
Hopefully I don't get copywritten for that, but um I'd be chilling in Indiana. I've been to Indiana. My uncle lived up there at one point, and it is really nice. They have a military base. Like most of it in the further part of Indiana, I believe, is militarized. Well, as far as like bases, and they have planes there. But it's a really quaint little city. Has a lot of nice, useful stores. The traffic's not bad. And it's a chill area. There's not like, I mean, I haven't been there in
I
years,
yeah,
but
I was
it
I
was
was there.
nice from what I remember.
I was there a long time ago for a period of time, just checking it out, and that yeah, it seemed really nice. Everything was really far away.
Yeah, yeah. My uncle lived in a house out there, and I can't tell you where, so please don't ask me. But I have been to Indiana. If it's, yeah, of course it's in the United. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's not far away from Ohio. But just like 4 to 6 hours. And yeah, I mean, I've been there quite a few times. My uncle had a really nice house in a nice neighborhood, and I'd go over there when I was younger and watch movies while they all partied in the backyard. My mom would smoke weed and act like I didn't know. And they're all out there stoned as fuck in the hot tub. I'm in there watching Chucky, eating some snacks and shit as a kid. But yeah, um, we live in the country, so do what we want. Yeah, yeah. Understandable. Understandable. There are country areas of Ohio here, so and you're more preempt to do whatever you want. Like, you can fire a gun out there at the ground. You can, grow weed out there. You can, do almost, any you can walk outside butt ass naked because there ain't no one else around for like 10 miles. I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, you know. What do you think about that, Harry?
Yeah, if you're
I
into that
mean,
sort of thing, yeah, go for it, I guess.
all right, this is the part of the episode now that Harry is fired up. If you got something rolled up, packed up, unpackaged, ready to munch down on an edible, cheers, guys. This is for you guys, man. We're going to definitely do a few streams of 1,600 viewers. We're going to start celebrating these milestones because we're getting up there as the days go on. Shout
Can't
out.
wait.
Thank you guys so much. So, again, this is to you guys. Cheers. Oh, it'd help if I turned my bear on, wouldn't it, guys? Sorry about the dead air, guys. Just need to toke a little bit. Oh. Man, that got me.
Oh, these
It's
beers.
Jawbreaker by Mike Tyson. It's in Royal Queen's seeds, and they're like $140 for 10 seeds.
Yeah,
But
yeah, those jawbreakers are
yeah, I don't know if that's just Mike Tyson and his brand or But Mike Tyson's came out with some good things. He's got them edibles. They're ears, bro, with a bite taken out of them, man. I want to try them and review them on the channel so much. I do. And Mike
pretty
Tyson
cool.
had some good vapes, nicotine vapes. But I'm not endorsing those on YouTube, but he does. And he also has some good flowers. So if you guys are interested, Mike Tyson, like fighting or sports or any of that, definitely check out his cannabis strands.
Sweet.
They're fire.
So like, we need to do a video about that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hold on, we got a bunch more. Oh, so let's go, Harry and Dustin. Hell yeah, you know it, man. Absolutely. I'm gonna
Yeah,
take a few more tokes.
get down on YouTube. I wonder how the camera's doing. Surviving over there. Looks like it still has some battery. I see white. Looks all right.
Yeah, guys, we want to make sure this time that the camera don't die on you. The nothing messes up besides what's messed up so far. Because we're tired of doing lives and having like audio issues and all sorts of things, guys. Is with Royal Queen seeds. I have some autos and their OG Kush that's been
Real
bro.
quick, see some
Yeah. Yeah, they're absolutely fire, Michael. Dude, Royal Queen seeds, I have some OG Kushes too. They're feminized that if you have the pink and white package, man, but it don't matter of packaging. All their seeds are phenomenal. They are so strong, man. Like they'll have thick stalks, they'll start real strong. They just are good, hardy genetics. I grew some big banana autos and
I've
they
had
were
I've
huge.
had great luck with 42 fast
Huge.
buds too. 42 fast buds have been really killing it.
Yeah.
These
42.
days.
Yeah, shout out to 42 Fast Buds and Royal Queen Seeds. You guys are awesome. And Barney's Farm for creating my grape ape. Thank you.
Herbies as
Yeah,
well.
Herbie's as well. Herbies.com. You guys are amazing too. You offer exotic autos I've never seen on any website and strands I've never even heard of, quite frankly. And I've heard of quite a few of them that stick in the old THC noggin, you know? What else got? Oh, hold on. Um, yeah, he said me too. But yeah, to be honest, Michael, man, I would definitely highly recommend the genetics from Royal Queen Seeds, man. I would recommend them fully. They're guaranteed to pop. Guaranteed. Like as long as you have some moisture and some warmth, boom, they're popping up. I've had them pop overnight. Like literally planted them overnight, woke up, three seeds up, was able to put them in the 10th the next day. I mean, their autos and they're feminized and just their plants in general are just top tier. And they have exotic strands. They have auto strands that are exotic. They have feminized. They have male and female you can buy to do breeding projects. There's just endless. Hold on. Um,
Got some more
August.
comments popping in
Yep,
the
yep.
chat.
Reading chat here. First, we'll start out. Okay, we answered Michael's Royal Queen's question or Royal Queen Seeds question. Moving right on to 369 Shama. Is there any strand that is like the oldest? Yes, actually, it is the Oxycan Highland strand. And the interesting thing about the Oxycan Highland strand, and it's from Oxycan, Mexico, is where it's bred and create or just lives. It's his native land, basically. This cannabis strand does not look like our typical modern cannabis strands. It just looks like a plant growing out in the weeds, and it gets flowers. And this is, of course, related to the cannabis plant. So, thusly, it is one of the oldest strands because it shows how cannabis genetically moved from looking like a regular outdoor tree to more of the cultivar we know in our grow tents today. So, Oxycan Highland. Look it up. It is a rare strand. It is really, I mean, it's weird looking. You would, if it didn't have flowers on it, you would walk by it outside and be like, I ain't a weed plant, man. I
Right.
mean, even you know, I mean, you would.
Yeah,
It don't look like a
there,
weed plant.
there's one too in Australia.
Australian bastard cannabis.
That's the one that was
Yeah.
good too. It's not cannabis.
Yeah, and you know, now that you brought and there's one more. So Australian bastard cannabis is another old one. It originates in Australia. It looks like a bunch of ragweed. Two Australian hikers found it and brought a sample back to the wildlife preserve dude in Australia, and he ran tests on it and found that it carried a very low, like 4 or 5% THC. So a very low level, but it did have cannabis flowers on it, of course. So that's another old genetic strand before the weed has evolutionized to what it is today. And last but not least, 369 Shama is Frisian duck. Frisian duck is duck footed leaves. So the leaves on a cannabis plant, you've seen it, it grows out like fingers. Well, the fingers are attached together. So it looks like a giant fan leaf ultimately. So, with that being said, you know, you got before it's separated. So, all these are basically the genetic makeup of the cannabis plant until it evolutionized into what it is. So, those are some of the oldest strands. Second and lastly, you would just have to get into landrace strands, you know, strands such as Hindu Kush and, strands of that nature, because these are the principles of what all these plants that we smoke and grow are made from.
Before
So
they got hybridized.
yes, and they all they did was take a landrace strand like Hindu Kush and mix it, let's say, with grape and bubble gum. So now they got
Yeah,
grape
right.
bubble gum Kush. Okay, man. And so that's all. Usually it's just landrace strands and different strands that differentiated over the evolutionary period of the cannabis plant. And it was right in between evolution to where it hasn't turned in looking like a full cannabis plant yet, if that makes sense. And yeah, those are some of the oldest strands, though. So we're catching up now. Saying, let's check chat real quick. Fire wild. Yeah, yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy that there's a couple cannabis plants out there that doesn't in any way, shape, or form even resemble cannabis, but rather looks, something different on the evolutionary chain. Um, we need to legalize so people can drink, or parents need to. Yeah, yeah. 369 Shama, I yeah, agree because you have to be, I feel, a certain age, whether I think either 18 or 21, either one, primarily 18, but to, smoke and grow cannabis, I don't think you should have to not go with it because, there are kids or this or that. You just got to be safe. Like if, let's say cannabis is hypothetically like a firearm, you wouldn't leave your firearm out around your kids and all this other stuff and around friends. That's the same thing. If you have weed in your house, you don't want little hands getting it or little fuzzy paws getting it, rather, because dogs can get into anything, cats can get into anything. Harry knows that too well. Buns can get into anything. I know that too well. So, I definitely think it should be allowed to the people, especially in different countries, because a place like Sweden, for instance, like you said, you're from, there's a low crime rate, even though, I mean, I guess it's rising now a little bit, but I think cannabis isn't going to cause any crime rate. I think it's going to chill people out there. And plus, this is what drives me nuts. Outside the United States, there's these countries like Sweden, like Germany, like this, like that, and they're beautiful. Like Japan. You know how nice it would be to sit by and look at those buildings and structures in Japan and just blow down? You can't. All these beautiful
Well, they
places
have
like Dubai and all this.
Japan has legal cannabis products, but I think they only allowed one cannabinoid, which was THCV.
Yeah, yeah, and CBD now.
Oh,
Well,
and
yep,
CBD.
yep.
So you can get V and CBD, just not all the others.
Yeah, but I mean,
E doesn't do
these
anything.
people don't have the freedom, and it's not a big deal. Like I said, it's just a plant, and it all depends. Like on instance, I'm not sure how Sweden's government's ran, but I know the American government, you got two parties, the Democratic and the Republican, and they go back and forth, and usually one's for it and one's against it. Now
Typically.
yeah, whoever's running Sweden must be against cannabis, I guess. I don't know, I've never seen anything in Google News or you
Yeah,
know
I don't know anything about the subject.
yeah, yeah, I can't say I do, but that's bullshit. People should be allowed to have cannabis no matter what the case is. Oh, the Middle Eastern people go wild with their the Middle Eastern people do go wild with hash. They absolutely do. That's where the hashish plant came from. The hash plant, which is a
Well,
strand,
they also have
and hen.
salvia over there too.
Yeah, they have. We can't talk about that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
I forgot. Yeah,
yeah.
I know
You're
all
you're
these
good.
roots and
You're good.
herbs and stuff. Uh,
But they have other recreational plants over there too as well. But yes, they do go crazy with hash, and that's where some of like Moroccan hash and some of the best hashish comes from is the Afghan areas, Afghanistan, I
the
don't know,
Afghan
Middle
Kush.
Eastern. There we go. That's the proper terminology. But yeah. So that's where some of the best hash comes from, and that's where Hindu Kush comes from, man. And the mountains, the Hindu mountains. That's where an indica was originated.
The
Was in the Afghani mountains of.
hash plant.
Yep, the hash plant. Yep. Um,
I got some more comments rolling in.
Thank you, Michael. Much appreciated. Dustin for president, Harry Cola for vice president. Yeah.
What would that be? Well, I think Trump's going to try to serve 4 more terms, so we got to get elected after Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, two buds in a jar has to be elected. I'll tell you what, your guys' lives would be a lot better. Cannabis would be no problem. You'd be allowed to grow and smoke and eat and how many ever plants. You want to grow 24 plants and go outside in your yard and live in it, cool, go do it. If you want to grow
I would,
mushrooms, go do it. Like, I
I would
don't
have to
care.
sit down, like
Yeah.
look at understand the full gravity of the situation before I could say anything more or less. But I'm sure Doge seems to be doing its job of
Yeah.
fixing a lot of the misuse of gross misuse, mind you, of taxpayer funds.
I gotta say, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I gotta say. I never got into politics too much. I do keep updated to see, where my brain sways with it. But anyway, yeah, I could definitely make some changes. I feel that would definitely affect people. Like rent can go down, bills can go down. Cannabis can go down too, but can be readily available to everybody. Mushrooms can a certain amount, but you can't like eat a whole pound of mushrooms and go tripping face outside. You can't do that.
Well,
You know,
I had a crazy idea.
what's
Like,
that?
why don't they do something with the robots, like what they did with the cars, and supplement that cost to the people? So you go get a robot, then you put the robot goes to work for you. It probably won't make as much money as it would be if you actually went there, but you get one robot to start off, save up enough to get a second robot, get a third robot. By your fifth robot, man, you're making a steady passive income just every now and then repairing your bots or getting some maintenance on them, you know? And if everybody was
Yeah.
doing that, then that would fill up all the factories. There'd be all these workers that they need. And then they'd have a way to produce robots and sell the robots to the people, and they'd have an immediate use. Oh yeah, this thing's going to go to work for me.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. I agree with that,
You
Eric.
you go work and make the
I
whoppers.
would
I'm
be.
going to stay home and make videos. You go have fun.
That would be
I'm
it.
writing today. I'm figuring out a scene.
Economical production. But yeah, I gotta say, like Shama says, 369 Shama, I feel or told someone today we need more people who aren't afraid to help on the front lines because some feel more called to do that. I mean, yeah, you got a lot, and yeah, getting into the militarization of society, yeah, there are a lot of people that do fight in the military, and it does make a change. Honestly, the more people you have, you obviously are probably going to win that war due to sheer strength and weaponry alone. If you're
Well,
getting into that,
I mean, the numbers aren't it. There's also strategy too. I've seen in video games. I've seen the larger group get beaten by the smaller group just because the smaller group had more strategic
yeah,
defenses.
yeah, look at like SEAL Team 6 or like 6 to 12 guys that take out 40 to 50 guys before the sun rises.
Wild.
So, yeah,
Well, I mean, I've
yeah.
played DayZ. I've been on
Well,
there and
I'm
I've seen
talking about
players.
actual, yeah, like military.
Well, I've been on some crazy video games. A lot of wild survival games where like you see the people do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, yeah, dude, I gotta say. But yeah, I mean, honestly, there needs to be more people. I think where he's getting at is, he or she, but I think where they're getting at is, just to make a stand. I don't know, like Sean.
Right,
Yeah, you know what I'm
right.
saying?
I mean, I'm sure in their area there's like tensions and rough seas.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but rough seas are kind of everywhere too
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
same time.
especially in Russia and Ukraine, but
Yeah,
I don't know. There's so much political stuff we can talk about on here and some much, and we don't cover politics.
no,
We just, get stoned and tell it how we feel.
yeah.
So I don't want to get into any.
I don't
Yay.
like. No. I peer in and I see what's going on with stuff and like things that I see that are good, I'm like cool, and things that I see that are bad, I'm like yeah, I don't know what unfortunately like a lot of the structures are it's really complicated because it's a lot, and to really be able to make huge differences, you need a lot of money, like especially here in America, it seems like if you want to make a difference, pull out your wallet and let's see how much money you have. The more money you have, the more of a difference you could make. The less money you have, well, have a good
Yeah.
day because you ain't doing
Yeah.
nothing. You're sitting on your
Yeah.
couch.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to get into that economical decline of America today, right now.
Well,
I mean,
I'm just
hopefully it
saying,
gets
I mean,
better, but
legitimately, like,
yeah.
if you had like 10 or $50,000, you could use that money to do a lot more than if you have like 100 or $500.
That is true. Yeah. The more money you have, the more you can use to make a
You can
difference
grease
there.
a lot more wheels. You can make a lot more things happen.
Check this out. Maryland allows firefighters to smoke. Now, I think that's cool. I think if you're stressed out, yeah, but at the same time, do you really want stoned ass firefighters? But they should be allowed to smoke weed. I feel that first and foremost. I think every human, no matter what race or ethnicity or whatever, should have the legal right on this earth to smoke
I
cannabis.
think it makes sense because I feel like ingesting cannabis in that way by combusting it coats your lungs, you know? And if you're going into buildings that are potentially burning with all kinds of hazardous things, that extra coating might help, shield you temporarily from those hazardous things you could potentially be breathing in.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta say, hold on one second, guys.
Hey, check out
Yeah, check on old bud.
your trying to hop out of the cage.
Yeah, I think it's a real activity.
Oh, they're trying to get air. We've been puffing down in here pretty hardcore.
Yeah, we usually do, but it's okay.
Yeah, normally that window opens up at some point. Um, what was the question again? What was the question again?
Oh, Harry.
It was that
Firefighters are allowed to smoke weed. How do you feel about it, Harry?
right, and I was saying that it's probably a good thing that I don't think anybody if people okay, so here's the fight a lot of times is it's um gonna be addictive. Well, I'm solid proof. You're solid proof. We have two people who wake up in the morning, and the first thing we want is nicotine. The second thing we want is caffeine. It's two people that wake up, and the first two things we want are not cannabis. They're nicotine, which is illegal. You can do that anytime as long as you're 21.
Yeah.
And caffeine, you don't even have to be 21. You could be a child and go buy a whole 24 pack of caffeine.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think children should be
And
allowed to buy energy drinks. I'm
and
just
these
saying,
two
like kid
things I
kids.
feel are far more addictive than cannabis is because I don't wake up in the middle of the night craving cannabis. I wake up in the
Yeah.
middle of the night craving my nicotine.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So so that's kind of out the window. If that was true, then nicotine would be illegal.
Yep.
Next up, what was the other thing? Oh, it's going to increase the crime rate. But again, it's not addictive.
How many people do you know? Just out in chat and comment this later if you catch the video later. But how many people do you know have done something either stupid, illegal, or violent when they've drank alcohol? And how many people you know has done that while they were stoned? Not too many people, you know? So with that being said, I think the number's pure on that, but I think firefighters should be allowed to have the right
Well,
to
I think
smoke.
everybody should have the right to smoke.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why they think it's so bad. Like when alcohol is worse. You already have something that's more addictive, that's nicotine. You already have something that messes you up far greater than cannabis, and that's alcohol. But both of these things are fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they fit the description of everything you're saying is wrong with cannabis. Because alcohol, I feel like, makes people, yeah, it brings down your inhibitions, but it also makes you more susceptible to do dumb things like get in a car and drive across town and I don't know, just do things you normally wouldn't do outside of your own character because you're intoxicated.
Exactly. So, I mean, yeah, I'd say to sum it up, we do feel here at Two Buds in a Jar. I mean, if you're being a fireman, it's definitely, I'd feel like cannabis is definitely a good option for you, and you should be allowed to have that right. You should be allowed to be a firefighter and smoke weed because it's a hella stressful job and it can be hella traumatic as well. So, definitely. But New Mexico just legalized mushrooms. What do you think about that?
Man, mushrooms are coming up a lot.
Yeah, mushrooms seem to be the topic, man. Psilocybin. So I mean, I think in Mexico they should be allowed to have that. I mean, they have peyote buttons over there still growing wildly. I mean, they're not all eaten by the hippies, so
Like,
you know.
I think mushrooms can be very beneficial to people. It's definitely has helped me in times in my life. So I don't see why it should be. Now, I think. Mushrooms are a little bit different than like cannabis. I think
Yeah.
like if you were to put the scale, I would go cannabis at the lower end, and then alcohol, and then mushrooms. Because even though alcohol can affect you for, I think it probably affect you for a little bit longer, depending on how much you consume. Those mushrooms hit so hard for that 4 hours that you almost need a babysitter
Yeah.
to do mushrooms.
Yeah, I gotta say, and yeah, for 8 to 16 hours. So,
Well, no,
um,
mushrooms typically only last 4 to 8 hours,
48.
6 hours most. Yeah,
Yeah.
unless you're getting really strong ones, like those penis envies might last 8 hours, but your golden teachers are going to typically be a 4 hour trip.
Yeah, that's true. They're a little lighter.
I know my psilocybin.
The hell is that noise? Anyway, quiet on set. Uh, getting
Action.
back, yeah, action. Getting back into it. Uh,
Mexico.
yeah, we're at Mexico. Okay, OSHA will push to basically OSHA will not cover you at work if you fuck yourself up while you are stoned on the job. I mean, I can see how some people could get stoned and fuck themselves up and not. I think it would depend case to case. That's my opinion. I don't think if you're stoned and you get injured, there are people that function normally and may just get injured because the job's dangerous. What do you think, Harry? That's a double-bladed, sword there.
Well, you shouldn't be drinking alcohol if you're on the job. So you shouldn't be, technically, if you're doing a job that's relatively dangerous, you should have all your wits about you. And like, yeah, yeah,
One minute.
cannabis can help, but at the same time, I just think you're gonna want all your P's and Q's especially if you're doing something crazy like climbing up on high areas or moving around where there's like machines driving past you and you need to stay alert to make sure you don't get flattened or something. Like you should probably have your all your P's and Q's, just not be stoned. Um, so, I mean that makes sense because you shouldn't be drunk either. And I like to kind of give the comparison to alcohol because I that should be cannabis's benchmark at least. It should not be in some crazy schedule that it's in because it just doesn't really. It's never fit up there really. I've never seen it unless you do some like serious chemistry to it with like some of these crazy concentrates. Like I could see it being that way. But other than that, in its natural form, it's pretty cool. It's pretty good. Um, yeah, I think Dustin had to go take care of the bathroom or something. The fun's in there. I don't know. What were again? Oh yeah, legalization of mushrooms. In OSHA push. Yeah, so hmm, I don't know, man. It's crazy that they would do that. Hmm. Um, yeah, it's been a long time since I even thought about doing mushrooms, but I've heard, I think the last time I did them, they were in chocolate. They were chocolate bars.
Yeah, typically that's how I ate them last time.
So what was the OSHA one?
The OSHA one, they are not covering people who smoke cannabis
Right.
that get injured at the job site. I think if it's because you were stoned, then yes. I guess footage, I don't know. There's no way to really tell that. So I can
Well,
kind of
they
see, I
do
guess.
have swabs now that can tell if if you've smoked in the last so many
That
hours.
is
So
true.
they have that machine. I forget exactly what it's called.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like it might be in my pee or my blood system, but and as long as I think it's so ridiculous the extremes they've gone with something that's clearly not dangerous.
Now I just had a call can of family. I had to jump off screen real quick, but Yeah, yeah, I don't think, yeah, as long as it's not, yeah, it's not because you got big, but what was I going? Oh yeah, get into this one. The majority of America finds alcohol to be more dangerous over cannabis. Now, we were just talking about that. I mean, it took them how many years for America just to find that this is, it kills brain cells, it causes
It's
fights,
literally a
domestic
neurotoxin.
violence, wrecks. Yeah, it's a neurotoxin, bro. It's it destroys
Yeah, it messes you up.
like
And like
yeah.
the thing with it is if you drink alcohol for 20 years and then you decide, oh, I'm gonna stop, you can't just stop without going to a doctor and getting some kind of help to deal with all the issues that alcohol has done to your body, you know? It's just facts. Now, something like cannabis, I smoked for a long time and I decided, I need to take a long tolerance break and see if I can get my tolerance down. And I just stopped for like 6 months and it was easy. It wasn't even hard.
Yeah, I gotta say, it isn't hard. It's not like it's really addictive. Alcohol can cause cirrhosis of the liver. I mean, it causes a lot of deaths per year, like 140,000 of them. It causes a lot of violence. I'm not saying everybody's that way when they drink. I'm just saying I've never been a, alcohol person. I have drank a lot of different stuff, but it's not my thing. I don't do it now, and I haven't for years, matter of fact. But you know, I knew this years ago. I mean, so the fact that it's 2025 currently and they're just, catching up on it's a little bit
Well,
more mind-boggling to me than the actual find of the study.
alcohol's always not made, it's just always made me feel sick. It's never really, it's like almost like an immediate hangover feel whenever I've tried to consume it. So it's just never been good for me.
Michael Richards says it's far more dangerous, but it's okay for politicians to pop them bottles. Yeah, I gotta say, yeah. Yeah, it helps their pockets. The tobacco and alcohol really helps their pockets. So that's kind of where politicians lean more so. But if they can get their hands into the cannabis money, they're going to do that because, I mean, it's making millions and billions of dollars, this industry. But we are seeing it taper off over the past years, and here recently, we've seen it decline. A lot of sales in cannabis is because the prices on it are too high, the taxation. I mean, where we're at, there's a $20 taxation in it overall.
Well,
And
it's crazy too because they act like, they like pretend in their mind that, oh, cannabis has never been here before. It's all brand new to everybody and
yeah.
nobody's ever smoked it here before, right? They're
Yeah.
like, oh, we can only make it like 15%. That's really strong. No, it's not. Get out of here.
Yeah,
There's
they're
cultivars at 41% now.
yeah, because the dispensaries are only licensed to sell certain products that only go up to so much THC. So some of them are licensed to sell up in the higher stuff, yes. But most of them that are just pop-up dispensaries in your local dispensaries, you'll see just scattered, besides a few, won't sell that type of stuff. So, it's hard to get anything that's high THC percentage when that's actually what you require in order to get baked, you know? Um,
Yeah, you just got, and then that's where the problem comes in because, you know, having this, you want something that's potent to where you can smoke less, opposed to something that's weaker and you have to smoke more.
Yeah, and I gotta say, a lot of people, even Michael said he hates the prices of the dispensary, and it is ridiculous. I mean, the prices are overtaxed, and that is the problem because you're paying already, money on top of like us. We go and buy $30 1 gram pen, and now we're paying 40, $50 for it because that's the just the bottom line tax. And that's what you're seeing. A lot of people are realizing they can just grow their own fucking weed at home and they're tired of, and me and Harry decided that too. I mean, that's why we grow and smoke. We just get bored and,
I like doing it. I've always wanted to be able to grow, and I always thought there's always been a reason why I couldn't. And I saw the opportunity, everything was like lined up, and I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, me, I did it regardless at the time if it was legal or not. But now that it is legal, I mean, I grew it at both time points and I just kept growing because it was just second nature to see flowering cannabis plants to me. So, you know, I couldn't go days without it, not have it in my life.
I didn't want
Felt
to.
like there was a void in my soul without seeing the big buds sway back and
I
forth.
didn't want to invest that money into something that could just be taken away from me, and that was my reasoning behind not doing it. Because
Yeah.
they take everything, you know?
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, your dirt, your everything, your
Your everything,
lights, your
your
tent,
internet,
your
your house,
your house, no.
all your money.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause they assume that's associated with
Everything's gone, man.
yeah, it's horrible. But in Illinois, $100 for 2 grams of BHO. What the fuck? Yeah, that's crazy. BHO oil and
100 grams.
yeah, $100 for 2 grams. That's crazy. That should be like 25. I could see 30 to 35 maybe for each gram,
Stuff's
definitely
expensive, man.
not.
What's that butane? The cost of that butane's probably high.
Yeah, and that's not even like organically,
That's the
sourced.
gas.
Yeah, but you can take down cost and sell it cheaper if you took out the, butane extraction form you're
Yeah,
doing in it.
doing it like with the live rosin technique, using the washing machine and heat press and the freeze dryers. That looks like the way to do it.
Yeah, Michael, man, you can get cheap presses and you can just grow your nugs at home. And then you can grow like a really resinous strand, put it between wax paper and set it to a certain heating and just press the bud and get it out on the wax paper.
There's a bigger process to this. I mean,
No,
you
you're saying,
can do that to get
yeah,
some resin out of it,
you
but
can get with
to
the right
get
machine, dude, like the
with
Nug Smasher machine.
those machines are expensive, and the
Yeah,
Nug Smasher machines really
there's a small and a giant
they
version of it.
they never work that great. It's not like we squished nugs and just had ooze coming out of them
Well,
after.
that's because that weed was probably fucking, passed around and cured. I'm talking about like fresh, trichome, resinous, exotic strands. I mean, I've seen puddles drip out of,
Maybe,
you know.
maybe if they're really resinous, fresh.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, I think the better way to go about it is to have the proper washer with the cold water and the ice. Get that micron, the tiny micron bag, filter everything.
Oh, he does have a Nug Smasher Mini. Yeah, man, that's going to
Nice.
be your best bet to, yeah, either that or, pay for the, more expensive
Well, I
prices.
mean, like
But
the
because
chemistry
that stuff
techniques going a
can
bit
get,
further with it. It's
yeah, it can get higher in prices for sure. But the Nug Smasher is the best. And as long as you grow some resinous trichomes, man, you can definitely get
do
out.
you freeze them first and then press
No,
them, or you just
no.
press them fresh?
Yeah, you don't do it fresh, but you do it cured and then press it.
Oh, okay.
Yep, yep, yeah. Let's see. Do you all know any cheap places to live while visiting Amsterdam? No, I wish I did personally. Shaman
Nope.
360 or Shaman 369, but or 369 Shaman, there we go. But no, unfortunately we do not. We have not, I haven't left the United States. I mean, unfortunately. I would love to eventually here soon, but yeah. I mean, no, I've never done that. But I know there's places called hostels. They'll be in Amsterdam, and I'm gonna say a hostel's gonna be your best. It's a hotel basically. It's just called a hostel there. But it's gonna be your best, somewhere like that, because I know they have a lot of good hotels in there. I'm not sure which ones. I've just never been there. But one day I hope to go to Amsterdam. But while you're there, man, definitely smoke up. Definitely smoke up because
I'm
they have
sure they
some of
have
the.
some fire.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, Amsterdam has some of the best genetics and strands, period, in the Europe nation, like Europe continent. Yeah, definitely. Um. Oh, okay. Now getting into it. Now that we're past all that, we're a page deep into the docket, can of family. Okay. Smoking, it says, can endanger heart health. Now, that's something I just mentioned. you are taking, I know, and I'm all for cannabis, but you are essentially taking a carcinogen in a smoke, and it does interfere with the oxygen levels in your bloodstream, therefore, causing issues. So,
Well, that's not the only issue, is the resin from
yeah,
ingesting builds up in
yeah.
your arteries,
Hmm.
like cholesterol would or anything else.
Yeah. So thusly, so I can't, disagree with that because that is true. I mean, anything you smoke, so it's better to vaporize or eat cannabis again, Ganna family. Um, you know, than the traditional form of smoking. If you're wondering why you're dabbing, yes, concentrates do turn it to a form of vapor. Even off of a banger or, a bucket or whatever you're using to dab with, dab device or something. If you're dabbing with a device, yeah, it's about 100% safe, If you're dabbing freebasing it like off bangers and using terp pearls and things of that nature and carb caps, you want to do it at lower temperatures, that way you're not inhaling those carcinogens. So yes, it is definitely not heart friendly. I would say it does raise your metabolism as well, which isn't a bad thing, but if you have a pre-existing heart condition and then your heart starts to race, you could have some issues there, or maybe a pacemaker. So that's my thesis on that.
Yeah, I agree. It is one of the cons to the cannabis plant.
And we were just talking about how high dispensary prices were. Now, Michigan, it keeps lowering their recreational prices. Now, I notice that a lot of people are going to Michigan, and that seems to be I mean, not a problem, but for some people, I'm sure it is. It seems like for Michigan and other people I know quite well, it definitely is a problem. So, I mean,
I mean, I think
they
it
have
should
fire
be.
shit on their market. Michigan, is a little state, just like, Ohio is, but well, Ohio's bigger. But
Well, it needs to be assigned to the other corporations that are in the industry right now that, hey, look at what Michigan's doing. If you're not careful, they're going to pull the monopoly card on this because they're going to get it down to the
yeah, and
soups, and they're
that's
going
what
to
they're
have
trying to
the
do.
cheapest, the most expensive bud, and everything in between. And you're not going to be able to, getting anywhere in that edge in that market, especially once, yeah, if it gets to that point where it's nationwide, it's fine, it's not demonized across the country anymore, then that's going to go global. They're going to take over real quick.
Yeah, that is very true, I'd say.
So I think these
They're
other
gonna
industries need to pay attention and be like, oh, actually, we need to go the other way with our prices, and that percentage needs to go this way.
Yeah, yeah, they're going to financially triumphant in a place where it's like cutthroat business because they're selling, dropping the prices, so they're definitely going to sell more. So hopefully they just have the product to move, and then they'll be all right, I assume. Um, let's see here. Um, Illinois is protecting medical users while driving. So if you are under the influence and you're prescribed, and I think this should be, if you're prescribed cannabis and you can function with cannabis in your system, even if you use it recreationally, you should be allowed to drive, but not while you're severely impaired. Like if you just get too trashed off some edibles or some dabs that day, obviously you shouldn't drive, but I think it's good that they're doing that so they don't just run, or do some kind of testing there, see, excuse me, that there's THC in your system and, put you in jail when maybe that day you didn't smoke because you were driving and you're telling the truth. So,
Really, there's
you
this thing
know,
you can do if you're just too fried is either eat food or take a little quick nap, and then you should be good after that.
that is very true. That is very true, Harry. Um, I gotta say, yeah, if you're too stoned, just take a couple, nap. Make sure keys are out of the ignition. Put them where they need to be. I forgot, and then just crash out in your car for a couple hours, and then wake back up. Maybe get some coffee. Walk to a place if you can. Grab something to wake you up, and get back on the road. Just don't do it. But I think people that, do have cannabis in their system or maybe can even get high and drive should be, ultimately not penalized if they're, doing that and they're perfectly capable of doing so.
Well,
but
maybe.
not everybody is. There's
Well,
people that's want to
right. Well,
drive their
I
car through
know.
McDonald's literally when they
I
get their munchies.
I know with alcohol, there's like a legal limit. So I wonder if they'll have to make like a legal limit for cannabis.
I don't know. I mean, I assume they will because there are amounts. Like, Michael, what's your guys' amount that you're allowed to have and grow in Indiana? Because here it is 2.5 ounces of cannabis, and you're
Well,
allowed to have 6 plants per person.
I was talking about legal limits like in your system.
Oh,
You know,
like a
like how
certain
the
percentage?
breathalyzer.
Yeah, so much percentage of tea. Okay, yeah, then it should be like that. Like there should be a certain percentage, but they would
Yeah,
set it
like
really
right now,
low.
I definitely shouldn't drive.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Harry should not drive.
I
Yeah,
do things.
yeah. Harry's about knocked out. He wakes up early in the morning, like before the sun even thinks about showing its face.
I wake up and I look at the plants.
He chugs a gallon of Mountain Dew and starts YouTubing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just wake up
literally a
early,
gallon of Mountain Dew to the face.
just look at the plant. I go, "What you doing today, plant?"
It's illegal. That's bullshit. It's legal or illegal in Indiana. I didn't know
Yeah,
that, man.
yeah,
That's
I knew that.
stupid. That's
It just
dumb.
didn't come up.
Yeah, like it's right close to where we're at and several other
It
places.
seems
Like it
like it'd
makes
be
no
a good
damn
place
sense.
for farming.
And that's another thing. What happens like if weed's legal here and you have like your weed pen on you and then you're driving through like somewhere like Indiana and then all of a sudden they're like, "Arr,"
You
pull you
don't.
over and
You just don't.
that's fucking stupid.
You
Even
just
if it's
don't.
prescribed to you, like that's
You
dumb.
just
That's like having, a pain medication that you need in your car and it's prescribed to you and you drive through California and they're like, well, even though your name's on the prescription, you're still going to jail. And it's like, what the fuck?
Well, maybe
What
if
I
you
do?
have maybe if you have it like in the prescription bottle and it's all like wrapped up and
Yeah.
like names on it, maybe then you could get away
Oh,
with
my
it. But
bad,
it
dude.
could be
Sorry.
like in your hand while you're driving and you're puffing down because you needed your medication,
It's like, hold on at this intersection. Let me blow down this 4 gram bowl.
Just cautiously drive through this green light, puff down this bowl.
Hey, yeah. I'll decrease my speed. That's bullshit, though, man. Yeah. Me too. I'm up 4 a.m. daily. Damn, that's early, Michael. Damn. That is early. You're up there with Harry. You probably see Harry's freaking upload all the time then because he's up early before the chickens and roosters
Well, no,
are.
no, because you got to wake up to on age restricted.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You have to unage restrict every short we upload. It's fucking retarded. But, it's YouTube for you. You'll have that. So, wait, what can you do, guys? Okay, moving right along here on the list, though. We got they're selling fruit arrangements that are edibles.
Fruit arrangement. Sounds pretty cool. It sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, now we'll get into that. But 369 Shamus is me too, 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. I wish I could, man. My sleeping schedule's so fucked up. I'll go to bed at like 1 or 2 and not get up to like 12, 1. I'm like, crap. Yeah, it's horrible. But
I know I normally go to bed around like 11, 12.
yeah.
I still wake up early. Not 4, 4 or 5. I wake up that early. I look at around and I go back to bed. My plant lights need to be on first.
Yeah. Like the plant sun has to be up in order for me to fuck around or even check anything anyway. So going back to bed, my grow lights aren't even on yet. But they're selling fruit arrangements that are edibles now. Me as somebody who loves fruit, I think that's awesome. I would love that. I would get one.
It's interesting though. How are they getting the cannabinoids and stuff into the fruit? Are they like making the fruit?
Into the chocolate, and then the fruit is dipped into the chocolate. That
Oh, okay. So the chocolate and they're dipping it. So they're probably using like a chocolate shell almost.
Yeah, and I wish they could just inject real fruit with THC. I would be like undescribable high every day if that was the
Well,
case.
there probably is some way to do something, but that would be a juice. So let me think. No, that wouldn't work.
Michael said his plant light comes on at 4:30 a.m. Damn.
Nice.
Damn. Yeah. Damn, that's early.
Try, trying to save a little bit of electricity on that phone call.
Yeah, yeah, man. His girls have an early morning, man. Mine's on 24/7. I'm not gonna lie. Next time I'm gonna switch it to an 18/6, but right now it's been on 24/7 ever since I got the tent
Yeah,
for three grow
I don't think
cycles
I've
straight.
ever seen your tent actually shut down.
Yeah, yeah, it's a rare occurrence. I need to though, and I will next time. But for now, since they're autos, they're on a 24-hour. And anybody who ever tells you autos can't go on a 24-hour fucking lied. They look, plants do need time to rest and sleep, okay? Granted, but these autoflowers are not designed to do that. They're designed when they start to grow, flower, and die. It don't matter if it's light, dark, rainbow colored outside, they don't give a fuck. They're just going to grow their buds and die. So, that's why you can have such a fluctuation of time photo periods with them. You could have 20 hours on, 4 hours off, 18 on, 6 off, and there's 24 hours on period with no time off. So, it just goes to show how versatile these little auto flower plants are.
The 18/6 light cycle might do the best for them because I noticed with the 24 hour light cycle,
Yeah.
it almost seemed like the plants still weren't getting enough downtime because the plants take anywhere between like half an hour to an hour and a half to actually go to sleep, depending on what kind of lights you're using.
Um,
If you have the far red light, that helps the plant shut down quicker. But if you don't have that added in, then that last 15 minutes when the lights go off, it takes them about an hour and a half to fully shut down.
yeah. Yeah. Michael said he's on a 12-hour light cycle.
Photo period.
Yeah, photo.
I like the photo periods. Photo periods, I have a good time with.
I like photos and autos. I'm not biased. I'll grow anything. I don't give a
Which
shit.
I was gonna grow autos, just none of them popped. So I was like, all right. But some of the photos didn't pop either. I was like, all right, it's wedding cheesecake. It is.
Yep, wedding cheesecake is the new strand you guys are going to see here on Two Buds in a Jar on the shorts here recently. So,
I'm excited. I actually haven't studied this cultivar fact information, but 42 Fast Buds is amazing with their cultivation information normally. You just go to the website and it tells you everything you need to know to grow this plant efficiently and not in any extra stuff that you don't really need to grow the plant, which I'm sure they have some extra information, but normally it's pretty
yeah.
wide. It's what you need to know. And it's like, all right, let's
Yeah.
go do it.
Yeah. So, you do have that. I think they're great though, between photo period. I have guys, we have between me and Harry, so many different genetics, so many different autos, so many different exotics that we're going to be growing tons of plants. I got a new crop coming right after this mimosa cake. I can't wait until that stuff's done in there.
You're
So
doing the grape ape next?
I'm doing the Grape Ape OG Kush. So it is an indica mixed with another indica landrace strand, and it's an auto. So they're going to be Grape Ape OG Kush autos, and they're going to be big, bulky, and grapey and stanky.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to finally get back to my roots and grow my indicas, man. I've grown a lot of sativas and some hybrids here recently, and I want to get back into the old, indica bush,
Right.
where I live. That's where you can find me. Ever wonder where Dustin is from Two Buds in a Jar? You can find me in the indica bush, man. You know, absolutely. Oh, hopefully that ain't copywritten. The alarm that goes off on my phone every day at 7:30 and I have no idea why or who said it. It's just weird. I bought a new phone so I could get a better camera for you guys, and I got the better camera and better footage and lighting and everything on the camera with the phone, but now my phone goes off at 7:30 and I never set an alarm, so I got to figure that out
You
eventually.
gotta find your alarm clock in your settings.
Yeah, and turn that shit off, man. But yeah, so let's see. We've covered the Missouri become or the Michigan keeps lowering recreational prices. Smoking can be dangerous to heart health, and the selling fruit. edibles arrangements, which I wish they'd have something like that here where we are, but I know it's going to be in more intricate cannabis areas where they sell more cannabis products, like Colorado or something.
Maybe that would be really easy to do on like a Munchie Mondays to make a chocolate sauce that's a coating,
Yeah.
and then be able to, we could make that on a Munchie Mondays, but one time maybe.
Yeah, and absolutely, Michael, in the couch is where you can find me. I mean, honestly, after I smoke it all day, it does knock me on the couch, but as I'm smoking it throughout the day, it's just like getting stoned. And sometimes I need some coffee, though. I smoke them strands like Granddaddy Purple and shit, Purple Urkel, and they put me to sleep with that CBD content in it,
Yeah,
you know.
CBD. Yeah.
And I mean, the THC too. I mean, yeah, so there's two variants there with those strands, but definitely in the couch is where you can find me. But we have covered the document Canna family or the docket. We've covered over like 30 different things of cannabis related. And we got a lot of new content coming here soon from Two Buds in a Jar. We got more shorts coming. We got more videos coming. We got also a project in the way that we're working on slowly. So if we start stream, we're going to try to start stream around 4 o'clock now to do it because that's where all you guys seem to be. It's where our peak times are that YouTube told us. So the YouTube over gods over at YouTube Land told us to stream at 4 o'clock. So that's what we're going to be doing. That way, more of you guys can capture all of our stuff. I just had some pink carts or pink certs. It will put me in the couch. Yeah, pink certs is a good strand. We did a video, Michael, if you want to check that out, and it was good. You can check out the pink certs we had and actually the effects and everything. But it definitely, as an indica, I can say that was one I had to drink some coffee in between when we did that strand review. But we got Munchie Mondays coming up. We're just waiting on materials. So once the plants get done, the mimosa cake and the gorilla cookies, we will be good. We'll have amnesia haze material to make edibles with. We will have gorilla cookies to make edibles with and mimosa cake to make edibles with.
Butter, oil, possibly sugar and or salt.
Yep, and we're going to make a bunch of exotic dishes, man. All sorts of things. We're going to start simple, Canna family, and then we're going to work our way up into our, culinary skills of cannabis infused food and recipes to show you guys. So you guys have a lot of cool things you can do at home to get torqued up on recreationally. But we will definitely have new shorts coming every day. Like I said, we got 3 or 4 videos to be dropping this week, and we got a project on the back, and we will be going again and 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, because we're in an Eastern time zone. So you can definitely catch Two Buds in a Jar there. Okay, Harry, I think we're going to wrap maybe this stream up. You got any last words for the Canna family?
My video
You
be
go
gone.
first and I will.
See you guys on the next one.
I just want to take a minute and thank you guys again. We are at 1,606 subscribers. That is just mind boggling to me and Harry. Thank you guys so much. These productions will get better in time, I promise you, and we will get out and go places and do things, and we will be live. It's just right now we're waiting for the weather to clear up in our area, and it's starting to, and it's starting to get warmer. But until then, we're going to keep it right here in the studio, chilling out. And shout out to everybody in the chat 369 Shama, Bill Loves to Grow, Michael Richards. We will see you guys the next stream. Much love from Two Buds in a Jar, man.
Now.
There we go.